math,
That's good.
which
We can talk about
kind of
math.
have a knack for.
Yeah, I love math.
Um, but I'm not particular. Like I don't know any theory or anything. I'm just good at what they've taught me in school. So, and I read Isaac Newton, and they never teach you in school that he discovered calculus through the motion of the heavenly spheres, they call them. And it was like this progression of studying the stars that brought us closer and closer to like understanding the world, and eventually that culminated in us reaching the moon and satellites and all that stuff. Very interesting,
Yeah,
I think.
actually, you can pretty much see that the evolution of math is very much related to the evolution of physics. It's like math is just physics. Math is basically a science. It's a science that evolved side by side with physics. It's basically physics. Like, there's no abstract math. All math is based on our experience. So, this nonsense that math is some pure truth, that's nonsense. Math is purely circumstantial, it's purely experiential, it's purely scientific. And very few people are aware of it. It's just a language. Math is just another language, which is just a product of evolution. It's just the evolution of grunts. Languages are just the evolution of cavemen, of ape grunts, and math is just a language, or math is just a specialized form of grunting, like very complex grunting at the end of the day. And grunts are just instinctual emotional reactions. So math is nothing but an emotional reaction. So when you look at a mathematical equation, you're supposed to experience some emotion. Like sometimes you can visualize a very complex field, like Einstein's field equations. You're supposed to visualize a field that his equations describe, but that's just an emotion. You visualizing, imagining, that's Einstein showing you something in an equation. Instead of showing you a movie, and instead of talking and explaining, he just writes one equation and you see everything from that equation. But it's a very shorthand explanation. That's all that it is. And so it's that I mean I could either explain to you Einstein's field equations without showing you the field equations, or if you know math, you know enough about the about math, you can just look at the equations and get the whole story directly from the equations. So it's just a short.
Mm,
It's just a short
okay.
of it
Uh,
makes a long story short, and hopefully it gets the point across correctly and you don't misinterpret. So in the case of Einstein's field equations, he himself had to learn curved geometry in order to develop his ideas about general relativity. So he was basically a student of curved geometry, so he misinterpreted general relativity, so it confused him. That's a quote from him. He said, since mathematicians invaded relativity, I no longer understand it.
what do you think of Napoleon? This is going very off course, but I
I don't
swear
know.
there's like
I don't know
some
enough.
substance to it.
I don't know enough, but if you're conquering by force, that's not a good idea. You should be conquering because everybody wants to be part of your empire. Everyone should,
Was
like in
wasn't
America.
that the case though?
What?
A lot of the time, we won over the Texans. Well, kinda. I think sometimes some of the Texans were like, "No, let's make our own republic," but eventually we won them over by saying like, "Hey, look, if you join, you get all the benefits of being in America, and we defend you from the Mexicans."
Exactly.
Same sort of thing happened with like Napoleon in his conquest. I guess I don't know. I haven't read a book on Napoleon, but something similar must have happened where the people were literally like laying down the weapons, going, there's no point in fighting this guy. Like, if we join his empire, something good will come of it.
Okay, so I don't know the details, but as far as I know, he was a general. He was militant. So that indicates that maybe he. So my idea of a good conquer like America. Everyone wants to come to America. So America should instead tell countries from which, right, countries, a lot of countries are flooding America with immigrants. Those are the ones that are able to make it, but most would like to move to America. So America should say, look, instead of everyone coming over to America, why don't America turn a bunch of countries into states of America so you don't have to come? I mean, America is there's nothing special about the land or the air or the geometric coordinate location. What is special about America at the end of the day is the system, is the American system. Is the system of the states, the Constitution. Something about that is working out better than by far most of the countries on the planet. So America should say, listen, so it should go to every country and tell them, why don't you just have a referendum? And if you get 51% that wants to join and become a state, then let us know. And we might accept you into the union, under certain conditions. And I think that a lot of countries would hold these referendums, referendi, whatever, and it would be great for humanity. But unfortunately, no American president has ever offered this. No American has ever offered this to the world. I don't get it. It's like Americans don't understand how great America is, and that this could we America can change the planet. Humanity can save
Well,
humanity.
that happened with JFK,
What
and we all know what happened there.
what happened with
You know,
JFK?
he wanted
JFK was
he wanted to send the Peace Corps out to the world and spread, like, the goodwill of America.
no, that's not.
However,
That's no,
there was also this thing called the CIA, so, and
no,
they also, spread American values.
no. So JFK was killed by by a little communist, by a leftist, by an extreme leftist. Like a lot of the assassinations were conducted, as far as I know, by extreme leftists. It happens. You still see it. Extreme leftists. They are the ones that conduct a lot of the assassinations, and that was the case with
But
JFK. It was a guy that he moved to Russia, to the Soviet Union. And then he decided to come back to America, and he thought that. Anyway, that's JFK. Nothing to do with the CIA. The CIA did not kill JFK, just like the FBI didn't try to kill Trump. Trump.
I'm not saying the CIA killed JFK.
Oh,
I'm
what
just
do you?
saying, like, well, I'm saying it's a very chaotic world.
Yeah,
The things that we do, like say Iraq,
yeah.
it comes off as very evil, but it felt like the only play to make,
No,
because
oh,
there was oil there,
no.
and if the oil would stabilize the region, they would have a source
That's
of
that.
money.
No. That never happened. That was never a consideration. That doesn't make any sense. America has enough oil. America, I think, has more oil.
It wasn't just for them. And no, I don't think that's true. I think, if America had to use its own oil supply, they would not be able to, fuel everything.
No.
Let me check that.
No, it doesn't matter. No, that's a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy theory. That's not that. There's no evidence for any of this. This is pure conspiracy. Pure
No, I guess it does. The US has energy independence
yeah.
since 2022, which is very recent, mind
Not
you.
just that.
Until then, they needed to.
There's nuclear technology. We don't need the oil. There's nuclear. There's so many. Energy is not the issue, and The whole
What
story
do you think is the politics behind us not going to nuclear energy? Like, why don't we all do that? Like,
is
you
because
know,
the
Turkey was trying to get nuclear uh, reactors set up from Japan, and the UN shut it down. What are the politics here?
it's not politics so much as it is, humans are dumb. And it's very easy to sway the public. It's very easy to confuse the public. And you have these interest groups. Part of it might actually be the oil companies, that maybe they had to do with it. And part of it probably has to do with the US enemies, that they sway the public. Like a lot of the green parties and the green movements are actually bought and paid for by Putin himself. And, that's the actual Russian interference. So, and the point is to weaken America. If you take away nuclear power, nuclear energy, it hurts America. So, our enemies from within, from outside, are always looking to hurt America. And
Maybe it comes out of some sort of goodwill
no,
so as to
stupidity.
stabilize the world
No,
and just not worry about too much,
no,
nuclear energy and all that. Let's just
no,
have the Arabs make money doing
no.
oil and go on with our days.
No, the Arabs, the whole this has destabilized the Middle East. The oil has destabilized the Middle East and destabilized the world. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, oil is oil is by far inferior to nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is by far the safest, the cheapest. It's perfect. But there's enemies. Humanity has enemies, and these enemies don't want humanity to flourish. Some people, some people have, like if you can make money from hurting humanity, why not make money from hurting humanity? If you can do it, well, why would you care that you're hurting humanity? It's not like you're hurting your family.
What a-
If your family,
what about that? What about that? The nuclear energy, the nuclear reactor thing that happened a while ago. What about that?
Chernobyl,
There are safety concerns for nuclear energy. Not Chernobyl. It was more recent. Uh,
Fukushima,
like 2000. Yeah.
no one died in Fukushima. People died running away from Fukushima. No one died because of Fukushima. No one died at Fukushima, as far as I know. As terrible as Fukushima was designed, and with many issues, I mean, we can build nuclear facilities that are extremely safe, but instead we're just not building, and we move to oil, and now we're even moving away from oil. The same people that are forcing us to move away from oil, these are the people that forced us to move into oil from nuclear. And now they're forcing us to move from oil to solar and renewables. And then they're going to force us, Greta Thunberg, she goes to demonstrations against green energy. Now they're going to force us from green energy to zero energy. Now they want us to have no energy. So these
So
people,
you're saying the thing going on with China and the housing crisis there is due to Marxism? That's what I'm getting from if I were to apply your system
no,
to what's going on in China, which is a borderline housing crisis.
no.
Uh,
There was never
the
a
cause of this is Marxist.
no, there was never a housing crisis in America. That was completely fake. And there is no housing crisis in China. That's fake. What's going on, what happened in America is one day the housing prices plummeted and the government overreacted. The government reacted and interfered with with the market, which is something, the market is supposed to be free in order to function properly. Any government interference throws off the market, and the government interfered and stopped the markets and stopped banking, and So that was such a shock. That sent such a shockwave into the system, and then the government started passing new bills, more and more bills, because of what, because nothing happened, but the government, the politicians, they never let a good crisis go to waste. So they used this crisis in order to pass every bill under the sun, and all these bills
So are you like an anarchist?
no, just the opposite. Just government interference. That's the opposite of anarchism. So politicians, they,
Or you're saying like you don't want the government to interact with the free market,
I mean, that's why
but
it's called
then you're
free.
saying,
That's why it's called free market.
mm,
The free market is designed. I mean, we know from economics the free market functions the best when it's the most free, when it's the freest. Any interference, like if me and you, we make a contract and we work together, and then imagine and we're happy, we're both happy, and then the government comes and says, no, 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 no good, illegal. So now we cannot do business together. So I'm sad and you're sad. So government,
shouldn't the government though kind of like have power though?
what?
If there was a if shouldn't the government have power if there was something that would interfere with them having like power, like say like, like a housing crisis and they just do nothing, wouldn't it look bad on them and wouldn't it make people lose faith in them? And then wouldn't it make people all go like live in total anarchy?
Yeah. And that's why politicians react, even though they know that their reaction is going to hurt in reality. But since it looks bad not to react, politicians would rather react and destroy the universe, but look good, rather than not react, improve the universe, but look bad. So politicians need what's known as optics, good optics. So a politician always follows the rule of good optics, even though good optics sometimes destroys the universe. The
Let
politician,
me let me tell you. I try to read. Sorry to cut you off, but I have something as a tangent. I have not read the Republic. I have it. I've read sections of it. I've tried to understand it. I kind of understand it, but the ultimate thesis of that book is very simple, and it's uh, government. A government is better than no government at all.
okay,
So,
I'm not saying
um,
I agree that a government is better than no government, but the more limited the government, the better. And a very, very limited government is the best. The sole purpose, look, government should be, it should just be, involved with defending the borders, basically, like organizing some defense force. It could be private. For that, government needs to collect taxes somehow. So government needs to collect taxes in order to put together an army, a little army for peace, a bigger army for war. Um,
also, the government has to justify its existence by doing good things for the people. And like
yeah,
they're like a parent in that way, which is very you said you don't read, but it's very like 1984, but like Big Brother's watching,
well,
like
I,
they have to act as like the parent and go like, okay, this is what we do. This is what we do now, and it may not be what you like, but this is what we're doing. Uh, but yeah, sometimes I definitely think they might not be able to make the best decision because they're just focused on keeping power. Uh, sometimes, sometimes the government has to really go and think, we messed up, and we're not going to do anything, and then we let the housing crisis unfold and let the uh,
there was never.
things occur
Okay,
as they
okay.
do.
Hold on.
You said there wasn't a housing crisis. Can you explain that?
Yeah, yeah. Hold on. I mean, you're saying a lot of stuff. So, and I want to react to everything you said, and I'm not going to be able to. You're bringing up so many topics that I need to correct you on. So that's not going to be very productive if you just keep going. So pick a topic, ask me a short question so I can answer.
So you said the housing crisis never occurred. What? So I'm struggling to see how that's possible. Like it feels like it definitely did occur, especially to me. Like a lot of people lost their houses, and you're saying what would be the alternative if the government didn't step in and
Hold on.
try and fix the situation? What would
Hold
happen?
on. Okay, so you're asking again. While you're asking, you're loading the question with many things that I want to correct you on. So I'm not going to be able to correct you on so many things. So ask, formulate the shortest question so I can react to it. Otherwise, I'm going to be here for days and not finish.
Okay, why did the housing crisis not happen?
Okay. So what's your evidence that there was ever a housing crisis?
Well, many people lost their houses. Well, many people lost their houses, and the stock market crashed. I think those are my pieces of evidence.
Okay. So many people lost their houses. Let me think through that. Okay. So what? So what if many people lost their houses? So what? Let's
And what we have now, like if you like look at what's going on in cities, is they're replacing like properly built houses with cheap ones and apartment buildings,
hold on,
which
hold on,
admittedly the apartment buildings are a
hold
little bit
hold on,
better made, but
hold on,
the okay.
hold. No, hold on. Wait, I'm trying to have I'm trying to answer the question. So if you keep shifting the topic, it's going to be difficult. So I'm trying. Let's look at the evidence. Let's look for evidence if there was a housing crisis. Maybe you're right. Maybe I missed the evidence. Okay, so you're saying people lost their houses. What do you? So you're saying that the houses suddenly became vacant? You're saying that the vacancy rose? Is that yes or no? Would you say that well, you're saying people lost to whom? So a person loses
Well,
something, you have to lose
if you
to
look at the
someone.
movement of this through time, so a lot of people were like in the term of like natural causes, people got kicked out of their homes. Well, not kicked out, but they couldn't afford their homes. They went to apartments. They went to
Hold on, hold
cheap
on, hold
build
on,
houses. They
hold
went to
on,
rents,
hold
and a
on,
lot of the people who are owning the
hold,
houses now
hold,
are large corporations, and they
hold,
just manage everything.
hold. Okay, okay, good. So I was asking what happened to the house. So you're saying people lost the house. So okay, what happened to the house? So you're saying okay, so who is living in the house? Let's say someone in the midst of the housing crisis, quote unquote, 2007. Also, I don't know at what date. So can you give me a date when this happened? Can you pinpoint a date, even a year? Would you say
2007 to 2008.
fine? Okay. So you're saying at 07, 08, someone lost, let's say we can find a person who lost their home. The home became vacant. So who did they lose it to? So you're saying they lost it to? I mean, who took it from them?
Well, essentially a different form of management came
Hold on,
in the form of managing the houses.
hold
Like
on.
it's
Okay.
like I
So
said,
hold on.
companies started owning them.
Okay, but when somebody lost his home in 07, 08, who did the person lose it to? Under what circumstances? What I mean, what do you mean lose? I mean, okay, let's say I'm that person. Tell me exactly what happened to me. What happened to the home? So one day I get a letter, and the letter says, "You lost your home." Who sent me the letter? Who did the house go to? Why did the house go to? Give me the mechanics. I need the mechanics of what happened on that day that I lost my home, as you said. So who sent me the letter that I lost
Some
my home?
bullshit somewhere.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Okay. So let's say usually people when they buy a home, so a home costs, let's say half a million, let's say even $1 million. So people that buy a home are in their 30s. They buy a home for $1 million. They haven't saved $1 million. So what do they do? How do they buy a home for $1 million if they haven't saved up $1 million?
They get interest rates, loans.
Yes, good. They get a loan. The loan is usually it's called a mortgaged loan, which means they mortgage the house towards the loan, meaning if they don't pay the loan in time after a couple of warnings, then whoever gave them the loan gets gets the home. Wait, did I lose you?
Then the
Oh,
house
somebody's
is
doing this.
taken
Hey,
away.
Judas. Wait, what? Did you
Huh.
say did you say something?
No.
Oh, I thought you said something. So so a person, a young family, in order to buy a home, they need a lot more than they saved at whatever age. Whereas a person that wants to buy a home, he just started working. He's out of college. He's at the beginning of his career. His wife is still at home with the kids. Maybe later she'll get a job. Over the years, they're going to make enough money to pay for the home. By the time he's maybe 50, 60, he has saved $1 million or maybe more. But he doesn't want a home only when he's 60. He wants the home when he's 30. So he goes to the bank and he tells them, listen, this is my story. I'm going to be able to save $1 million by the time I'm 50, 60, but I need the home now. So give me the money now. I'll buy the home. I'll work until I'm 50, 60 to pay for the home, and then I'll pay extra to make it worthwhile for you to give me the loan. I'll pay interest on the loan. So far, so good.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. Who is the person at the bank? Who is that person? Who owns the bank?
Let's see.
So the banks, you can go online right now. All the banks are publicly traded. You can go buy shares in banks. So banks are publicly owned. People own banks. Everyone can own a part of the bank. So okay, so he goes to this bank. It's a company. It's like a bank. There's sometimes small banks, mom and pop banks, local banks, and sometimes there's very big banks. There's all kinds of banks. Sometimes they're privately held. Sometimes they're publicly traded. Publicly traded just means that basically you can buy shares in a bank, like in like on the market. In one of the markets, you have Wall Street and you have Nasdaq. There's a bunch of markets. Chicago, you have a bunch of markets all over the world where publicly traded companies are publicly traded.
What
It's
does
just
the Chicago market do exactly? Like
I
you're
don't.
you're separating like
It's
Wall Street from the Nasdaq from Chicago.
that's like saying
Uh,
what's the difference between Walmart and Shop and Stop? It's just two markets. It's just two markets. That's all. There's nothing special about any one market.
I I want to press you because not necessarily to like challenge what you're saying, but to get more information out of you. Um, what um
It's not important. It's honestly not
okay.
important. There's basic competition between the markets. Each market is itself a private company. These are private companies. These have nothing to do with the government. These everything I'm telling you is
So who controls them? Like the mob?
no. But why? No, you can buy shares in Nasdaq. You can buy Nasdaq, the company named Nasdaq. You can buy shares in that. The company named Wall Street. You can buy shares in that. It's just it's a market. It's a type of a private company. It's publicly traded. I think these markets themselves are either, some of them maybe are private, maybe public. It doesn't matter. These are private companies. These are private firms, and there's competition between these firms where, right, just like Walmart and Stop and Shop are privately or publicly traded, but these are not government organizations. And you can go and buy stuff, buy vegetables there, and the farmers go and sell their their produce there. So that's where you trade with the farmer. You go to trade with the farmer at Walmart, at Stop and Shop. That's a market. Stop and Shop, Walmart is a market. Now, it happens to be that Walmart itself is publicly traded, I think, and you can go buy shares of Walmart. You do that at a different type of a market. I don't know where, probably, I don't know, Wall Street or somewhere. I don't know. So, so anyway, these are one of the most beautiful and intricate human organizations known in the universe. I mean, these are beautiful, beautiful constructions. You can basically be a financial engineer in order to understand the intricacy and how all these things make perfect sense. These things all work with no central planner. It's absolutely incredible. Everything works because each individual that is involved is just egoistic and just wants to make the most for himself. And this thing works perfectly, in perfect harmony, and everyone at the end of the day becomes wealthier because it just facilitates communication, financial communication between you and anyone else. Whenever, right, you are right now talking to me over Discord. Discord might be a publicly traded company that started its life by getting loans from, by selling shares. So you are enjoying life. Your quality of life has gone up because of Discord and because of tech, which is which lives on top of this financial complex that no one manages. This is self-organization. This is like any ant colony. There's no central engineer. There's no an engineer in an ant colony that tells each ant where to put the next grain of sand. Each ant, it has a mind of its own. It decides on its own with its very, very few rules. So each individual involved with the financial markets and in finance, each individual um, is egoistic, is just looking out for their own best. But from this simple rule, you get everyone's quality of life becomes the highest wherever there is free markets. The freer the markets, this we know scientifically, the freer the markets, the higher the quality of life of the average citizen. This is true for every country on the planet. The US doesn't have the freest markets, therefore it does not have the highest quality of life. I think even Singapore or Hong Kong has a higher quality of life on average because they have freer markets on average. Anyway, so in 07, 08, let's say you wanted to buy, or even today, you want to buy a home, you don't have the money. So you go to the bank, you tell them, listen, I'm working. Here's evidence that I am working. I have been working at the same place for a long time. They love me. Here's recommendations. You can talk to my manager. So I'm good. I'm a good loaner. So it's gonna make sense to you, Mr. Bank, to loan me the money to buy a house. Here's the house. Engineers took a look at it. The house is good. It's worth, it's the market value. It's traded. The house is traded, at the market rate, and it's worth. That's what people are willing to pay for it. $1 million. I want to pay for it. the asking price or somewhere around $1 million. I don't have 1 million. I have 100,000, maybe 200,000. So I can put 200,000. You give me. You're not gonna give me. You give the seller $800,000, and I'm gonna write the house on your name, on the bank's name, and I'm gonna live in the house, but it's gonna be mortgaged to the bank. It's not really my house yet. But after I finish paying the entire loan off with the interest, then it's going to be my house. Until then, it actually belongs to the bank. So if I ever default on the loan and I don't pay the monthly installment, as as it says in the contract of the loan, a loan is a contract plus the interest, then you can repossess my house, and that means I the house gets foreclosed, and I lose my. That's losing the house. I lose the house. It was never mine. That's the contract I signed. I realized it was never mine. It was never mine. Now, if halfway through, are you following so far?
Yeah.
All right. So if halfway, let's say I paid 500,000 to the bank after, let's say, 30 years, I've already half paid through the loan. And then I can't pay. I lose my job. I can't pay. The house gets foreclosed, repossessed by the bank. The bank takes the house. They check it out. They fix it up maybe. And they put it up for sale. Whatever they get, let's say they get 1.5 million. All right. It covers what I owe them. So let's say my loan I still owe them 500,000, but it's actually a little more because there's also the loan, the interest rates. So let's say I still owe them 1 million. Well, they sold the house for 1.5 million. They already anyway, they work out the difference, and either they say, okay, we have enough money, it's good enough. Now you could have sold the house too. You didn't have to wait to be foreclosed. As soon as you saw that you're in trouble, you could have sold the house, even though it's under mortgage. You could still sell the house with the mortgage, or I don't know exactly how that would be done. But even though even though the house is not yours, you can still sell it. You could have sold it, but you didn't sell it. So the bank now needs to sell it because the bank doesn't want to hold a house. A bank is not an organization that holds houses. They don't need houses. A bank tries to only have money and maybe stocks and stuff. But a bank doesn't like being in possession of a house. So as soon as a bank gets a hold foreclosing a house, it sells it. It wants the money. And usually when a bank sells it, it doesn't care so much to get the maximum price. It just cares to get whoever buys. It just wants to get the money. Like a bank usually maybe anyway, it's complicated. It has to do with the bank. I mean, so it's a private organization with its rules. It does whatever it wants. The loan is a contract you signed or I signed with the bank. So I need to fulfill my part. They fulfill their part. As soon as I cannot pay the loan, I'm defaulting on the contract. So they act upon the contract. The contract says exactly what they do. The contract says they will foreclose and sell it and give you, and then pay off the loan from whatever they make. Anyway, so that is what losing a house means. So losing a house actually doesn't mean anything because the bank needs to immediately sell the house. It's going to sell it to somebody else. The house is not going to stay vacant. The house is going to get sold as soon as possible. So nothing happened in 07, 08. Nothing ever happened. Ever. Except for the government changed many laws, many fast. And because of that, the markets stopped fully functioning for a long duration. That caused the recession because when the markets don't function, people like you and me cannot trade. You cannot work for me. I cannot employ you because, there's dysfunction. I cannot send you the money because the banks are right now, there's rules. I cannot send this. You cannot receive that. There's all this rule changing and no one knows. Are they going to keep changing? What's going on? Everybody's terrified. So no one is doing anything. No one creates new companies. No one does anything. Everyone is terrified. So during that period, basically, a lot of economic activity just went to zero. So That's why you basically had a recession, and it was very similar to COVID. So during COVID, the government just said, okay, we're going to freeze the economy. It's the same. It was very, very similar effects. You saw the markets tanking when the government seized the economy, told people you cannot go to work. And we're still paying the price for that now. So in 07, 08, the politicians just, they reacted and they overreacted. They should never have
Wouldn't you say
reacted.
that was a
What?
that's a I mean, they stepped in. Like, what do you think would happen if they didn't step in? It'd be
Nothing.
chaos.
No?
You saw what happened at the like Walmart. There was just no toilet paper. What were people supposed to do? Use their hand?
No.
It's inhumane.
No. So the reason that we ran out of toilet paper is because Walmart didn't raise its prices. Because when there's laws, these are called anti-gouging laws, which are the dumbest laws in the world. So when there is a crisis and suddenly there is a shortage, so the natural reaction of the seller is to say, okay, I have some stuff and there's a lot of people wanting to buy it. So this is my chance to make a lot of money. I'm going to raise the price. Now, when you raise the price, so fewer people, people are going to buy less of it. And you're only going to buy one roll of toilet paper that day when it becomes super duper expensive. But that's enough because it's going to send a signal to the producers to quickly produce more toilet paper because the price of toilet paper is skyrocketing. So people are going to run to produce toilet paper. A lot of people are going to convert their factories overnight from producing paper to producing toilet paper because it's worth it, which will make the shortage go away overnight, which would make the prices drop back to normal overnight. But because we have laws preventing price gouging, that creates a shortage because one person says, "Oh, I'm going to buy the whole stock from Walmart. I'm going to take 10 shopping carts of toilet paper because there's a shortage. I don't know when the shortage is going to be over. I'm going to get it before anyone else gets it." And because Walmart cannot raise the price because it's illegal, so now there's no more toilet paper. So again, because of government interference, you get a disaster and people, fight and kill each other. Because why are you taking all the toilet paper? That's not nice. Yeah, but I don't care about you. I care about me. Yeah, but you don't need so much toilet paper. Yeah, I don't care if I don't need that much. It's right now. It doesn't cost anything. I don't want to take a chance. Yeah, but everybody else now, we're not going to, how can we live our lives? Yeah, I don't care. I care about myself. Oh, so I'm going to kill you. So you get wars. This is where wars come from. Wars come from government interference, strife, people hating each other, racism, and bigotism, and all the social problems come out of government interference. If government doesn't interfere, there's not going to be a chaos. There's just going to be the prices are going to shoot through the roof momentarily. It's going to cause the markets to react. Producers will react. People will bring toilet paper. Hey, this is my time to sell toilet paper back to the store. I bought a bunch of toilet paper just before COVID, and now they need toilet paper. The prices are shooting through the roof. I'm going to put it up for sale on eBay. But if you did that, the government would sue you. That's illegal. That's price gouging. Oh, so I'm just going to keep it in my house. Maybe I'll even throw it to the garbage. Maybe I'll destroy it. Because if the government discovers that I have it in my house, they're going to come and arrest me because they're going to accuse me that I'm hoarding. So I'm going to destroy it. That's
what
Mhm.
oof. I want to think. I get what you're saying, and I agree, but I came to the conclusion in a different way than you. I don't know how you came to the conclusion. It just sounds like but it sounds like we're on the same page.
Okay.
Maybe initially I was off the boat here, but now I'm back on the boat and I get what you're saying.
Okay.
So my next thing is Hmm. Prohibition. Do you want to talk about that?
It's the same story. Prohibition created Al Capone, created the mobs, created organized crime.
I want to get more in depth with that, but
I mean,
uh,
any prohibition, anytime governments creates prohibition, like the drug war is basically prohibition, and even prostitution is prohibition. So because you have a war against prostitution, so women end up so a woman that wants to sell her body, so the police show up at her door and they say, so you got to sleep with us, all of us, if you don't want us to arrest you. So she has to. That's what you get. And you always get all these videos of police officers always banging all these women that they arrest, because it's either I arrest you or you bang me. So that's what policemen do. So you're paying a guy to be a police officer and risk his life to protect you. That's not what he does. It's much easier to just arrest prostitutes, bang them, and release them. And that's all they do. Or they wait for you and give you a ticket for speeding, even though you're all alone in the middle of the night and you can hurt no one going over the speed limit. Doesn't. But the next morning that everyone is rushing to work, the police officer is not going to stop anyone because everyone is going above the speed limit. There's no way he's going to stop one person. So they don't care. They're just trying, the police officer doesn't care about your benefit. He's just trying to care about his benefit. And if his benefit means that, you know, he ruins your life because he arrests you because you're with a chick, or you're taking drugs, or you're drinking, or you're going over the speed limit. He doesn't care that he ruined your life. It's his benefit. So your life is, it's like when you eat a chicken. That's how a police officer treats you. It's like, okay, you don't think about the killing of the chicken. You could care less about the killing of the chicken. I just ate some tuna. You think I was thinking about the life of the tuna, that the tuna had to give up its life? I could care less. I wasn't even paying attention. I wasn't even having a second thought as I was eating the tuna. That's how a police officer treats you, and that's how politicians treat you. They don't care about your benefit. The politician needs to look good. He needs to virtue signal. If it hurts you, so be it. If you yell, "Hey, politician, housing is prices are so high," so the politician is going to look good and force the housing prices down through rent control. But everyone knows that the result of rent control is the destruction of the housing market. Yeah, but the politician doesn't care. He's going to look good. And that's all he cares about. The fact that now no one has a home to live in because it's not worth it to build more houses because the rent is so low. So if I build a new house, I'm never gonna recover my investment. So I'm not gonna build a new house. So now there's no more new houses. There's not enough houses, and people are homeless. And the politician caused it because he forced rent control. He forced the low prices of rent. Okay, but the politician looks good. He was fighting for the poor. You asked the politician to take care of you. So the politician took care of you. The politician destroyed your life. He doesn't care. He needs to get reelected. He needs to say, "I am here to save the poor people, the homeowners. They're trying to raise the rent prices. I'm not going to let them. They want to take money from the poor." Yeah, it sounds good. The whole Democratic Party is basically that's all it is, and some of the Republican Party is part of it. Is that's exactly what it is. So that's what politicians are. So politicians are virtue signaling, and they actually hurt you, but because people are dumb and politicians are smart, but politicians, if a politician tried to actually improve your situation, but because you're dumb, you would never understand it. You think the politician is evil. You would never vote him in again. So you're going to vote him out. So you keep voting out the good politician, and you vote in the bad politician. So All the good politicians see that it's hopeless, so they never even go into politics. So anyone who goes into politics is evil. So, and that's how you get evil, and that's how you destroy the universe, and that's where we are, unfortunately.
So it's the end of the world.
We're hopeless. We're never going to survive in the long run. This is an unstable situation that we're free people living our lives relatively comfortably. This is very temporary. In the long run, we're going to be living similar conditions to North Korea and below. I mean, it's hopeless. In the long run, it's hopeless because it's an untenable, it's an unstable situation that the people keep demanding to basically destroy our lives and keep voting out good politicians and voting in bad politicians. So in the long run, we're just going to get a North Korean type regime. That is what we are voting in over the long run.
What do you think of the people are calling Kamala Harris a cop? Do you think she's a good politician, a bad politician? Like, what do you think of that?
I mean, we need to look at each and every one of her policies. I don't know.
Well,
what are her policies?
she grew up in the Bay Area.
It's irrelevant.
Probably her dad was black and her mom was Indian, and her mom went
irrelevant, completely irrelevant.
Okay.
I just need to know what her policy is. The amount of melanin in her skin has nothing to do with how much she will benefit humanity or destroy humanity. It's irrelevant. That's part of the people are dumb, voters are dumb, and that's why the humanity is hopeless. If the first thing that you're answering is the amount of melanin in a candidate's skin, where the candidacy is for the most important position on the planet, probably right before World War III, and all you care about is melanin, then of course we're doomed. We're doomed. It's hopeless. We need someone to stand up to the axis of evil, the axis of the dictatorships. And you care about the melanin? So yeah, we're doomed. We're never going to survive. We have a literal Hitler trying to take over the world.
You know, you have a lot of predictive power with the race you are,
What do you mean?
Well, my point, can I just get back to my point real quick? Well, I'll let you go, Judas, because I clearly have nothing.
I was saying you can predict a lot based on the color of somebody's skin.
Well, it tells you their background, right?
If, like, there was a black person on the street and he told you that he was a Nobel Prize winner, you're not likely to take his word for it. But if a white guy said it, you're probably going to believe him.
Okay, we're talking right now about
World
War III.
The reason I bring it up was, well, she was a DA.
I don't care. I honestly don't care. Look, we're right before World War III. We have literally a bunch of Hitlers cooperating to this axis.
No, we don't.
Okay, my opinion. So we have a literal
bad opinion.
Axis of Hitlers.
No, we don't.
Judas, let me finish.
I don't accept. No, I don't accept that. That's like a disgrace against Hitler's name.
What?
If we did have a bunch of Hitlers, then we wouldn't be in this situation.
Okay,
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I'm not saying. Look. Okay, we have a bunch of evil people, evil tyrants. With every passing day, their alliance is growing, and the danger they pose to our way of life is growing. These people are dictators. These are dictatorships. We live in a democracy. If they win, most probable, we're going to be living in their dictatorship. The quality of life in their dictatorships is very low compared to...
We're living in a democracy while simultaneously living in a dictatorship. What do you... That makes no sense.
I didn't hear you. What?
You're saying that we are living in a democracy while simultaneously living in a dictatorship.
No, I'm saying we're living in a democracy. We, me, you're in England. Off the hip cruise ship lives, I guess, in the U.S. I'm a U.S. citizen. So we all are used to living in democracies and freedom-loving democracies, relatively freedom-loving democracies. We love our freedoms. I love my freedom. I love being able to sit here and say whatever I want about whoever I want. And I can talk nasty about Harris, about Biden, about Trump, and not without a second thought. If we now become citizens of Putin, no, we can't. It's
Well,
not,
what's wrong with that?
what?
What is wrong with censoring free speech?
I don't like it. I like my speech. I want to be able to speak freely. I like my freedom. I want to remain a free person. I don't want to lose my freedom of speech. I love my freedom of speech. It's very important to me. It's maybe even it's so fundamental to me. What are you talking about? This is what else do I have? That's the most fundamental thing that defines me by definition. Without freedom, I'm not myself. That's like it's literally the most important thing in life is freedom.
The most important thing in life is subjugation to a higher power. And I think it's best characterized as a totalitarian leader, somebody who knows what they're doing and they're serving their country with its needs and best interest in respect.
I'm not interested in that. I
So
like.
America, go ahead.
Wait, America? What did you say about America?
Oh, I said enough. Go ahead.
But you said it.
Well, I was gonna say America is just eroding and crumbling, and acting like it's not because of how bad the system actually is in America.
So, I mean, okay, I love my freedom, and you're saying America is crumbling. If that's true, then I'm not happy with that. So when you talk to me about Harris, I don't want to talk about her melanin. I want to talk about her policy, how to reinvigorate the West. Right now we need someone to rally behind to stand up to the bullies from the dictatorships. I don't want to become a citizen of any dictatorship. I'm very happy as a free person in the West, in any Western democracy, but certainly in the US, I'm the happiest. And that's the way I want to maintain my life and maybe even improve my freedom. But if Putin takes over the world, I'm going to be very sad. My quality of life, my physical quality of life, will go down to that of the average Russian, which is very low, and I'll have much less political freedom, much less freedom of speech. The rest of it. So I need right now to talk about a president of the U.S. who can stand up to Putin. Not that has this or that melanin. I don't care about the melanin. I need to know, is this person going to stand up to the bullies from the dictatorships?
But we both know the answer to that is no. Putin is obviously more capable of leading than Kamala, whatever Harris. What race even is she? Like Black Blasian? What? It makes no sense. Nonetheless, Putin. I don't know what the worry is on his leadership. I think he's doing a good job, and he's only going to make the world a better place.
But I'm not in. What do you mean? To whom? Not to me. To you? Fine. I mean, then why are you not moving to Russia? That's evidence that you're lying. Why aren't you moving to Russia?
I can't move to Russia.
Why not? Who's stopping you?
What, I need to dox myself? Like, I just can't move to Russia.
What do you mean dox yourself? Who's stopping you from moving?
I would have to give details on why I can't move to Russia.
That doesn't make any sense.
And that would dox myself.
I don't understand why you would need to dox yourself to tell me why you're not moving to Russia. I don't understand. I honestly don't understand.
Okay.
Like if I felt like you feel that Putin is so terrific, I would literally move to Russia. If you think wait, you think the quality of life in Russia is higher than the U.S.?
Sure.
Then why? Then I don't understand. First of all, that's not true. And why are you not then moving to Russia? Hold on, we have comments. So Lessis Moore says that's why aliens won't visit us. Right, aliens are not going to visit us because they are trapped in their own North Koreas. And Trump 2024, I don't know. I don't
Yes,
know.
from 2024.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, possibly. I don't. I need to know who's gonna stand up to the to the evil of Axis bullies. Who's gonna stand up? Is Trump gonna stand up? Is Trump? If he is, then I want. That's fine. Then I'll be behind him. If it's Harris, then I'll be behind her. We need to stand up to the bullies, to the dictatorships. Leslie says hate speech also. Well, no.
The rest is too soft.
Well, let me just read the comment from Leslie Moore. So he says hate speech also question. So the answer is, on average, I don't see you, Leslie Moore, moving to Russia. So you agree that, with all the nonsense from the extreme left with the hate speech laws, it's still better in the West than it is in any one of the dictatorships. You haven't moved there, I'm guessing. So you know the answer. So with the hate speech, with how terrible the hate speech laws are, of course I agree they're terrible. It's still on average better in the democracies than it is in the dictatorships. Leslie Moore says Tulsi Gabbard for president U.S. Well, she's not an option right now. It's either Harris or Trump, as far as I know. Grugurivas, last comment says, I agree with Gnostic Judas. It's much better to have a leader like Nayib Bukele, who has power and loves his country. Autocracy is better than big government, bureaucratic democracy. If this is true, then move to whoever is Nayib Bukele's country. Why are you not moving to that country? And you have moved, then fantastic. Then why isn't everyone moving? Why is everyone trying to move to the U.S.?
That's just a Ben Shapiro argument. Oh, if you don't like your house, just buy a new one. Like, what the hell?
Wait. No, I mean, that's the evidence. I mean, you're not moving to Russia. All the people that keep speaking so highly of Putin, they're not moving to Russia.
I can't move to Russia. That's the point. I'm working on an oil rig. I literally can't do that.
That's fine. So at the end of the day, your quality of life is right. So you don't want to lose your job, right? Your quality of life is higher in the West than it is under Putin. So that's the only evidence I need. I don't want to.
No.
Then why are you?
It's because I favor working on the oil rig rather than a secure.
Then why are you not moving under Putin?
I just told you why I'm working on the oil rig, and it secures me financial.
Why exactly? So right, so it's because for financial reasons, because your quality of life is higher in the West than it would be under Putin. That's all I'm saying.
No, because then once I make enough money, I'm moving to Russia.
Okay, but in general, Russians are trying to move to the U.S. rather than U.S. citizens trying to move to Russia. Very few people are moving to Russia. Most people are running away from Russia.
If you're using the opinions of Americans to dictate what is better, then I don't even understand what you're talking about. Because Americans are like the least.
It's called science. Under the scientific method,
knowledgeable with regards to this stuff.
Wait, what?
Americans aren't going to be the best or ideal subject to defer to if you want to have an accurate assessment on the quality of life.
Okay, fine. I mean, it's just another metric. You can offer whatever metric you want. One of the metrics that I've noticed is that most people on the planet are trying, like the pressure, the demographic pressure or the immigration pressure is from the rest of the planet into the US. That's on net. The net demographic pressure or immigration pressure is from the planet to the US. The net. So
That doesn't mean that the US is a better place to live. I mean, in the UK, there's so many Indian people here, and they're all complaining about how bad their life is in the UK. So just because they're moving over here in mass doesn't mean that this country is better off.
okay. I mean, so I need a scientific metric for you to say that's not. Hold
Here
on.
we go. Science.
Yeah, science. This is, I always defer to the scientific method. So according to the scientific method, I need to be able to measure you saying something with zero evidence where you are erasing the evidence. You want to ignore the evidence that I'm presenting, but you're not even offering replacement evidence. You're not offering any evidence instead. You're just saying, yeah, the evidence that I'm presenting, no good. Why
What, you want me to like send like a portfolio of different scientific data pieces? Like I reject scientific method. I reject scientism. So that's why I'm not doing it.
What's your source of knowledge? How do you know anything?
Yeah, but that's an irrelevant question if you yourself saying that knowledge is impossible.
I didn't say. Why would you say knowledge?
Yes, you did. Before you said you can't know things. Yes, you did. This is bizarre. You literally did.
When did I say that?
Oh my god. So you know stuff.
Sure, I know a lot of stuff.
Oh my god. What do you know?
That there's net immigration pressure from the planet to the US. That's the evidence.
Okay. Well, you can continue lying, but you did say before that you don't know stuff, and most of it was because of the map and the territory fallacy, where the territory isn't the map. Do you remember that discussion?
Sure. You're saying absolute knowledge. I don't have access to anything. I'm not talking about absolute knowledge.
That's what knowledge is, right? I don't know why we would water it down. Doesn't it lose its value when you water it down so much?
No, we have no access to absolute knowledge, so that's not what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about scientific knowledge. So based on
okay.
So I'm having a scientific discussion. We cannot have any other type of discussion. Any other type of discussion is a lie. That's all I said.
Okay, if we're using knowledge like in a less rigorous sense, how do I know stuff? Well, it just seems like it's going to what?
Then you'd be lying.
Why?
Tell me what your source of knowledge. If it's not science, tell me your source of knowledge.
I thought that's what I was trying to do, but you cut me off.
Go ahead.
So I take a contextualist approach. So based on the context, then I can say I'm more confident in saying I know this rather than something else. So if it's something like, oh, how many billiard balls are inside a jar, I'm probably not going to say I know that there's 5,172. But if you were then to ask me, oh, what is 5 plus 5? I would then say I know it's 10 because it's a different context. So that's the method.
I don't understand what you just said, honestly. So
basically, different things.
Hold on.
For any different. Go ahead.
Wait. Look, you tried to explain. I have honestly no idea what you just said, honestly. And so now let me try and ask you questions because you monologuing about it. Try as I might, I couldn't understand what you said. I was waiting to hear something, but I didn't hear anything. I just couldn't make any sense of it. So let me ask you a question. So again, I'll ask you, give me a source of knowledge. Try to make a short statement. Give me an example. Give me an example of a source of knowledge. What thing did you learn that was not scientifically learned? Meaning you didn't learn.
That's literally so easy. That's so easy.
Go ahead.
So you can use definitions. That's a source of knowledge. Rationalism. Doesn't have to be empirical.
One.
That's
Give me
empiricism.
one example. Give me one example of knowledge that you gained unscientifically, meaning not experientially.
No, that's a fallacy. It's not. It doesn't have to be non-empirically. Everything which
Give me
we are.
an example. Okay, just give me an example. We'll work it out.
I'm clarifying the mismeasure
It's fine.
you are.
It's fine. Just give me an example. Honestly, I'm just give me an example.
Okay, A. Okay, A is A. All things are themselves.
Okay, A is A, or all things.
Yeah.
Is that the same as all things are themselves?
Yeah.
Which one do you want?
Law of identity. Yeah.
Okay, that's a third thing. So which?
No. They are all the same thing. I'm just saying it in a different way.
Okay, so let's take the law of identity. Okay,
Okay.
meaning a thing is itself.
Do you disagree?
What do you mean? Do I disagree? Of course,
Do you disagree?
I would say, of course, it's a scientific. You have this through scientific knowledge. Of course.
No,
What is a thing?
I didn't have to see this to know that it applies in every single context.
How do you know? How do you know that you didn't have to see it in order to understand, in order to know it? How do you know?
Okay, but first, let me just clarify. The law of identity is universal. Some saying it applies to anything which is possible.
I don't care what some say. So it's only me and you in this discussion. So
Well, I never said so. I'm saying it applies in all scenarios. I'm saying there isn't a contradiction to the law of identity.
Okay, fine, but this is, you learned this law through experience. I learned this law through experience. It was.
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
What do you mean?
Because I'm not saying that we can know things without experience all the time. I'm saying that you can use, so given the background of what you have observed, you can then use definitions and logic to then imply what could be the case. And that's the.
Hold. We've been through this. I honestly did not understand these words, honestly. So hold on. So I need to go through an example. So the law of identity, and we've had this discussion before, I showed you is a scientific experience. You experienced You said something?
Yeah, I'm saying no, it's not. Because I don't run the law of identity through the scientific method, even though I know it's true. I don't need to experience it to know it's true.
How do you know it's true? If you never
because to deny it would be to contradict yourself. That's how I know.
But how do you know a thing is a thing? How do you know that there are things to begin with? How do you know that your brain would have known
that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Like all of this is irrelevant.
No. This is at the crux. So we know today, I know how the brain works. The brain, when it comes out, all the weights basically are identical, or maybe, chosen at random. So there's pure white noise in the brain, meaning the brain doesn't recognize any pattern. And then the brain starts experiencing patterns. And these patterns are things. So the brain starts recognizing things. Without experience, the brain would not know what a thing is, that there is such a thing as a thing. The brain initially is a blank slate.
No. First of all, that's controversial. And I've literally read papers where people saying that you aren't born in a blank slate. But that's like irrelevant anyways.
No, it's very relevant. No, it's very relevant. So this is called genetic experience. So some of the
How is this relevant to the law of identity?
Because it's pre-programmed into the brain through evolutionary learning. Because our ancestors that didn't have their brains pre-programmed to understand things, faces, snakes, they died. They didn't survive. You need you need some things to be pre-programmed. So some of the weights are pre-programmed before you're born. But that's just evolution imprinted it. That's evolution having basically learned it. Your brain learned it through evolution. It's experience. Maybe you didn't experience it personally, but you experienced it indirectly. But that's not a blank brain. A blank brain, like an AI.
I am so lost in the source right now. Like, I'm not understanding how this is relevant
It's
to the idea that
What do you mean?
things of themselves, even on the opposite side of the universe, I can know that
What's your
without even
evidence?
encountering it.
What's your
Yeah,
evidence?
exactly. And I would love to go into it. So we get to the evidence by proof by contradiction. Do you know that principle? Proof by contradiction.
Give me an example.
It's that, okay, well, the reason why the law of identity cannot
What's
be
your evidence?
contradicted.
Show me the evidence. Show me the evidence.
What do you want me to give you like a physical like property that shows that it's the case?
How do you know?
That's irrelevant.
Whatever you know, how do you have that knowledge? You're saying,
I'm explaining. I'm using the math. That's how I get the knowledge. It's mathematics and logic.
okay, but even the words you're using, this is not a clean slate. A clean slate brain doesn't have any knowledge
I'm
of anything.
confused. You mean so what?
What?
So what? I'm like so confused. Like you keep inserting irrelevant stuff. Well, it seems to me to be irrelevant. Maybe it's relevant, but you're not doing a good job explaining how it's relevant.
Knowledge of the law of identity is experiential. You
Oh
experience.
my god! One sec. Okay. My knowledge of it is not the thing itself. Just like the word football is not the thing itself. I will not get drunk by the word wine because wine, the word, is not the thing itself. So it doesn't matter if I have to experience the definition of the law of identity. It doesn't matter to the fact that all things in reality are themselves. So it's irrelevant. Good lord.
Okay, look. You can keep you can keep saying whatever you want. So I explained to you what do you disagree with, right? You disagree in my explanation. You're disagreeing with something, right? When you say that's irrelevant, and I'm telling you no, that's very relevant. That should be the end of the conversation. That is my argument. You're saying my argument is irrelevant. I'm telling you no, that is my argument, and you just choose to ignore it. But my argument explains away, right? All I need to show is show you a theory of how you actually know it from experience. Now you need to disprove it. How would you?
Are you asking me to prove that the law of identity is universal?
Explain to me what is knowledge. Can you explain to me the mechanics of you knowing? How does that work?
Yes, I can.
What's the
Knowledge is justification, truth, and belief.
No,
To know something.
Explain to me what's happening in your brain right now. When you think these thoughts, right? That right, your brain, you agree, is the mechanics by which you quote unquote know. You quote know unquote. Right? Knowledge is a mechanics of your brain. You agree with that?
Knowledge is the mechanics of your brain. What does that even mean?
Okay, so look, you either agree or disagree. Right? Knowledge is a function of your brain, right? You agree that if
But this is another law. Okay, go ahead. But this is another law as the excluded middle. But go ahead.
No, it's not a law. We know because we
It
know
is. It's the excluded middle law.
I don't know what that means. We know that when we take people's brains out, they stop functioning. They lose their functioning. When we hurt their brains, when we hurt their brains, when they have brain aneurysms, when they have brain damage, when they have brain cancer, when something happens to the brain, we know that their thoughts change. People become more angry, less angry. Their personality changes. They're more forgetful, less forgetful, right? Their personality changes when something happens to the brain, or they become dysfunctional when some brain damage happens. So we know that your thoughts, and we know in fMRI, we know that AIs can read your thoughts once they're trained on your fMRI. So we know that your neurons firing are your thoughts. It's just it's a simple mechanism, very similar to an AI neural network. We know this. I mean, we have evidence.
How is this relevant to the law of identity? No, you lost me.
Because
how is it relevant?
Because we know how your brain works. What do you mean? We know it's based on experience. We know how your brain works. Without experience, your brain is a bunch of random weights. All the synapses have random sizes.
Do you think I'm saying that you can know something without having an inkling of experience? Do you think I'm saying that?
Anything you know is through experience. There's no other way. The brain is.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. This is like literally a long
Explain to me
and
the
super
mechanics.
complex
Explain-
debate in philosophy,
Explain to me.
empiricism, and rationalism.
Hold on. Explain to me the mechanics of the brain. Explain to me how you know something. Explain to me mechanically how that happens in the brain.
Why do I need to do that? Like you're trying to say,
Wait, do you agree or disagree that your thoughts are your brain? Agree or disagree?
I'm agnostic because I don't know what that means.
Okay, then
What do you mean my thoughts are my brain?
No, debate is over. You need to give me an answer.
No, it's not because you're not
No,
explaining it. You just
debate is
it's
over.
not. You just said no, it's not. You're
need
not
an
even
answer. I need an
explaining
answer.
it.
I need an answer. Either
Okay.
you agree or disagree. Your thoughts are your brain. I'm not asking for much. There's plenty of evidence.
Yes, you are. What does
Yes
that
or no?
mean?
Are your thoughts your brain? Yes or no? Are your thoughts your brain? Yes or no? There's nothing more. If you say
The
you don't
brain
know,
is
debate
supposed to be
over.
a physical thing, and my thoughts. Some people are saying it's
Excuse me.
immaterial. So how can it be the same thing?
Okay, yes or no? Are your thoughts a function of your brain? Yes or no? I need to know. What's your thought? What's your opinion? I need an opinion.
I don't even have to accept that. No,
What do you mean
and that's
you don't have to
controversial
accept?
because it's controversial.
You're
Because it's
refusing-
controversial.
Look, this is called you.
It's controversial.
Hold on. This is called you're refusing to answer the question. This is basically disengaging from a debate. This is basically declaring submission.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
You
is.
just don't understand the literature
What do you mean
on the philosophy
literature?
of mind.
I'm having a discussion with
The
you.
philosophy of
Hold on,
mind
Hold on.
has
Hold on.
is saying that the mind and the brain are not the same thing, and
Hold
it's
on,
like a
wait,
length.
hold. I don't care. Wait, hold. Look. Okay. Do you agree or disagree that if you don't give me an answer to a question during a debate, you're halting the debate? Agree or disagree? If
I
you
disagree
refuse to answer
because I
a
think I
question-
am answering.
If you refuse to answer a question, do you agree or disagree that the
I've answered the question
ask-
so many times, but you don't like
Wait,
the
let me-
answer, so you're
wait,
saying
let
I'm
me
not
ask-
answering.
Hold on, Judas. Let me ask. I'll ask the question again. You can answer. So, agree or disagree? If you refuse to answer a question, then you have halted the debate. Agree or disagree?
I'm just not going to answer to that because I think I've answered the question.
That question? Wait, you're not gonna answer because you've already answered. So why don't you repeat the answer?
Yeah, so both sides they have to respond. This is the burden of rejoinder. So yeah, that's just trivial.
Okay, now in English, I don't speak Discord. Remember, I don't speak Discord, and I'm not.
This is debate theory.
I don't speak debate theory. So just answer like a human. Agree or disagree?
No, because I don't want to be a human. No.
That's fine. So agree or disagree? Just yes or no. Yes or no. If
Okay.
one side refuses to answer a question, then the debate is halted. Yes or no?
Sure. Let's just say yeah. Let's just grant it. Yeah.
Then you've halted the debate.
How have I halted it? I gave the answer to your question. I
No,
said
I asked you.
the discussion of mind and brain is a controversial matter in philosophy, neuroscience, and all of that
Then you've
stuff. It's not like
Then
a
you.
consensus
Then
view.
you've halted. That's fine. You've halted the debate. You chose to
Okay.
halt the debate. When you say it's inconclusive, then the debate is halted. That's fine. You've chosen to.
I'm not seeing that how that is the case either because I don't know how any of this ties back to the law of identity, and this is something which you brought up. So you need to connect the dots back to the original discussion, which was the law of identity.
1 second. I asked you a question and you refuse to answer the question, and you agree that if one side refuses to answer the question, then the debate is halted. And all I need to do is re-ask the question, but I don't even need to do.
No, I didn't. Let me clarify. So we also need to understand that only relevant questions need to be answered. So if you're asking me stuff which just has no germane to the actual discussion, I'm under no obligation to answer the question. So now you have the burden of proof to show us why
So,
this discussion about our neurons
okay.
firing and whatever
all right.
is relevant to the law of identity.
Look, there's a limit to how much time I'm going to spend talking to someone that I feel I've done enough to prove my side. There is a limit. I'm not going to forever try to prove to you something that I think I've proven beyond the shadow of any doubt. So it's fine. Look, in a debate, like both sides can declare victory. That's just the nature of the beast. It's fine. If you feel that you've won this debate, that's fine. You're my friend.
Well, nobody wins debates because debates. Well, yeah, nobody. You can't win a debate. That's irrelevant. But if an alien walked up to you and said to you, "Oh, on the other side of the Milky Way, there is an object which is not itself," would you agree with the alien?
I would not agree with the alien because, in my experience, from my learned experience, it's not so. It's not that I cannot fathom a possibility such as that. But that's my experience. Based on my experience,
Okay.
I know it to be true because I know that if I had zero experience, I wouldn't even know how to.
Wait,
I
what?
wouldn't even hold on. I wouldn't even recognize an alien or myself or anything. I would be a piece of, basically a piece of meat. So the experience molds the thought, the brain, the thoughts, the brain, the way it's designed is the way it's designed by evolution is that the very experiences shape the brain. So if you
But you
experience,
are also using reason to dictate that the thing you have not experienced, which is the object over the other side of the Milky Way, is not itself. So you're using reason as well.
but this is fine. But even reason, in my opinion, is just that is still just experience. Like the fact that
Mm.
things have reasons is a pattern that I've noticed. That things have causes. That's a pattern that I've noticed. This universe, I would not know anything about the universe. Nothing. For me, it would be just white noise without this experience. I wouldn't be able to discern anything. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even be able to discern discerning without experience. The experience shapes the very brain. My very thoughts are shaped by my experience. It's all scientific, and I cannot avoid it, and no animal can avoid it. No animal with
But you're also using reason as well, because even though you have an experience, something you're concluding based on past inferences that it's gonna follow, the future is gonna follow like the past. And that's reason, that's not experience.
of course it is. Of course it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Wait, so you don't know that the sun will rise tomorrow, but you're using reason to dictate the fact that it will.
I mean, once
Let's just agree. Do you know that the sun will rise tomorrow?
I mean, it depends on what we assume, right? I'm
Oh my
assuming,
god.
for example, that when you say sun, you mean the word in English known as sun. So it depends on what we're assuming. If we assume enough in the question, then yes, I expect the sun to rise tomorrow morning. But if you remove something, you have to tell me what to assume, what not. But in general, I know what you mean. In general, no, the sun could explode right now, and it would not rise tomorrow morning. The universe could explode right now, and the sun would not rise tomorrow morning.
Okay, so just to be clear, are you saying you don't know that the sun will rise tomorrow, or are you saying that you do know the sun will rise?
It depends on the assumptions that we're introducing into the question. But in general, we don't know anything. In general, everything we know is just experience, and this entire experience might be fake. So what we know is a fake universe, and the actual universe is actual white noise. Who knows? You don't know. We don't know. We cannot know.
Yeah, good. So we assume stuff, and that's how we get to other conclusions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So based on past inferences or data, we then make the assumption that the future will follow like the past.
Yes. Some.
But this isn't based on anything which is actual. It's just
You mean
we need to assume it to make sense of things.
no? The sun has been rising every day since I was born, and I've been told
Okay.
that it has been doing this for something like I think 5 billion years. It's the Earth. The Earth is just rotating about the sun, and nothing seems to be in the way for the foreseeable future. So as far as I know,
Okay.
right, because of the law of inertia, the sun will rise again and again for the foreseeable future,
Okay.
for the next couple of
But
billions of years.
the reason that is irrelevant is because all of that stuff you said is simply stuff of the past, but tomorrow hasn't happened yet. So using the past to say with necessity that the future definitely will follow like the past seems that there's something wrong because the future hasn't happened yet. So we don't actually know whether it's gonna follow suit.
Right. So there's many things
Yeah.
you said. You loaded this question with many assumptions or sub claims that if we go through each one of them, we can discuss each and every one of them. But in general,
Yeah. Okay.
but in
Which
general,
assumptions did I make?
no. But in general, yes, I agree with you. In general, I agree. Yeah, I mean, if you said exactly or with absolute certainty, yeah, I don't know anything with absolute certainty. No, I agree with you on that. I mean, there's many things I agree with you on. It's
Doubt.
it's very astute of you to understand what you understand. I absolutely agree with you, and a lot of people don't understand it, and I think it's very deep that you understand. I'm very happy that that's what you say, because a lot of people that I talk to, they neglect it and they say, no, we know for sure the sun will rise tomorrow. The fact that you are aware that that's just a probability, whatever that, we don't even know what really the word probability means. Even that's not clear. The fact that you're so skeptical about the future, yeah, I'm also skeptical about the past, about my own knowledge of the universe. I'm skeptical about that. You know?
Yeah, because you could have been born like last Thursday and just
Yes,
programmed with all of these memories of the past. Yeah.
yes, and that's called the Boltzmann brain. That's
Yeah,
so
that's like yeah, I know this, yeah.
right.
It's also called last Thursdayism as well, to be fair.
Hold on, let me shut it down. So, right, I could be a Boltzmann brain, meaning I could have popped into existence just this instant with all this memory of the past. The universe could have popped into existence just this instant, looking as if it has all this past. I mean, yeah, we don't know, and we cannot know. And this could be a simulation or a simulation in a simulation. Yeah, it's endless. So I'm skeptical. It's always good to be skeptical. So we agree on much of what you said, but your thought that math and logic are these these are knowledges that we can attain regardless of experience, then
No, that's not what I said.
but experience is science. So I mean,
Science and experience is not synonymous.
then if you distinguish between science and experience, then again I might not disagree with you.
And also, like, science relies on mathematics as well, so I don't even understand this
No,
sort of.
math. No,
Yes, it does.
math is a science.
No, it's not.
We
No,
need
it's not.
diagrams.
Wait, what?
Exactly. Like,
We need diagrams. Get the whiteboard.
Why?
I don't know. I just thought it'd be cool.
mathematics is not a science.
Well,
I mean, science is a philosophy, though.
how do you know? How do you know 1 + 1 is 2? Right? Mathematics. How do you know 1 + 1 is 2?
By giving a proof for it.
Okay, go through the proof. How do you know 1 + 1 is 2?
I'm not gonna write a 1,000 book like Bertrand Russell. So
But
no.
he failed on page 360. He failed. He declared that he failed.
Yeah, I know.
So there is no proof. Nevertheless, how do you?
No, there is a proof. No, there is a proof.
How do you? What do you mean? So go ahead. What's the proof? Prove that 1 + 1 is 2.
So I think the idea is that there's a difference between numbers and numerals. Numbers are the things the numerals are pointing to. The numerals are just,
Okay, what is a number?
it's the thing which the
What
numeral
is a
points
thing?
to. So,
Okay, hold on. What is a thing?
well, let's just use an arbitrary definition. A thing is a thing you
Hold
can
on.
think about.
Look, so
So that's a circle of it. Yeah.
okay, so you understand that because you're using a language, it becomes self-referential. So you're going to get stuck in a circular loop, which means you have no ground truth.
I don't believe in truth.
I don't. Okay, so I don't. Then what do you mean believe in truth? Do you define?
I don't think there is truth.
Well, truth is just a word in English. Do you deny the entry in the dictionary?
I don't know what the entry in the dictionary is, but I'm saying I don't think anything corresponds to reality. That's what truth is, correspondence to reality. I don't think that's actually how things are.
I mean, we can discuss the definition, your definition. We can come up with a definition of truth that we can agree on and then discuss it.
Okay.
And maybe I'll agree with you. Maybe you can convince me. Maybe I'll agree without you convincing, depending on the definition. So what's
I mean, I think the notion of truth is a bit redundant. Instead of saying the grass is green is true, why don't we just say the grass is green? It seems like we're like double counting by saying adding on is true. So it's kind of irrelevant to use that term is true.
okay?
So I don't think we should say more than we need to. So instead of saying it is true, let's just say the grass is green or
I mean,
whatever thing.
but what do we do if doing? But still, But that implies you under saying superfluous means that you know the definition. It's not like you said it makes the sentence undefined. You said it's superfluous, meaning you do understand the meaning of the word. No?
No, I also don't think translation is ever like completely possible. I think it's indeterminate translation. So no, I don't think I know the meaning of stuff.
Look, the question is, by truth, do you mean absolute truth? And then I would agree with you. Or do you mean relative truth? Like my truth. It makes sense to me. It seems true to me. And then we can use the word true. If by true, we mean something that seems to be true to me. Hello, Karen.
I just want to jump in for 10 seconds and let you all know the sun will come out tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Love you. Tomorrow. The
I didn't
sun.
even. I'm
day.
usually like on the ball with like quotations, and I didn't even think of that. Damn.
Hold on.
I'm listening to your live stream, and I just want to let you know the sun will come out tomorrow. Okay.
So I need
Okay.
to update everyone about my my voyage through physics. So I'm at a point that I can prove ether. I know the problem with the Michelson-Morley experiment, and no one has noticed it. They only tested it horizontally. So all we need to do is test it vertically. My prediction is we'll notice the ether, and that's going to be at 6 million meters per second. I might be able to do it in maybe tomorrow, maybe next couple of days. I'll go to a local university, to their lab, put my hands on an interferometer, and just place it vertically and run it, rotate it, and get the interference. And through the interference, the distance between the interfered waves that show up, I should be able to calculate the speed of the ether. It should come out to about we did it together, Judas, about 6 million meters per second. That's the proof. That's the fix to Michelson-Morley, and that completely disproves Einstein's theory of relativity, his special one. But I also noticed that in 1920 he gave a lecture and he said there is ether. So anyway, it's a complete mess, but I'm making good progress. Anyway,
What's your definition of truth?
yeah. Let me just read some comments. So Grugur says he agrees with Judas. We read this before. Grugurivas also says USA is a shite hole. It is only good if you are rich. Otherwise, it is a crime and drug-ridden, socially divided mess with less and less prospects. Well, I guess you don't live in the US. I don't know where in the US. Like, I've traveled the world, and the US. Everyone wants to come to the US. The US is not what you're describing.
I don't.
You don't what?
I don't want to go to the US.
Okay. I didn't say that everyone. I said on net, the net pressure, meaning
No,
on.
you did.
I said on net. The net pressure, the net
Okay.
immigration pressure, is towards the U.S. That's what I've noticed. I mean, that's what the data points me. Anyway,
Isn't a good explanation for that just the fact that most people are stupid, so they're concluding like the wrong thing, and they're traveling to the US expecting like a great life, even though they're gonna come to the US and be NPC, working crap jobs and being nobodies and working their asses off for like just to pay the rent. Isn't that like a feasible explanation?
not really, because they communicate. No, because they usually communicate back to the mama land, and they tell their families, "Hey, it's even better than you thought, and please come over as soon as you can. It doesn't matter what it costs, how difficult it is. Come over right away." That's usually what happens, and that's why the net pressure. I mean,
Isn't a good explanation for that as well that people are overly optimistic and they are misjudging how bad their life actually is?
but that should be symmetric about the U.S. or any other country. So why is the U.S. plus it's a violation of the rationality assumption. So unless you want to say this about yourself that you're a dummy dum dum, then you have to stop talking and say I'm a dummy dum dum, and this discussion is completely senseless. But you don't say it.
I don't understand. I don't even understand how that low blow is even relevant
Mr.
to what I
Slade,
said.
if you could please refrain from, using slurs and
I didn't mean
insults.
I didn't mean you. No. I did not mean you. I could have said me, not you. So whoever makes that argument should. I mean, I could eat. Sorry. I did not mean to. It's not a low blow. No. I love Judas. No. Absolutely not. No. I meant anyone who makes this is the rationality assumption. One of the arguments is if you don't make the rationality assumption, then you know you. I don't mean to say you. I mean to say anyone. You means if one does not make the rationality assumption, then one cannot assume rationality about themselves. Then one is not rational. That's difficult to understand. I don't mean you, Judas. I mean you, the person. If you, the person, not you, Judas, if you, the listener, you, anyone in the universe listening now, if you don't make the rationality assumption, then you cannot make the rationality assumption about you because you're not making the rationality assumption. Then you're not rational. Then you are a
What?
dummy dum dum. You means you, whoever is not making the rationality assumption.
Bro, just so much. Okay, bro. That
I'm
was
sorry.
like
Let me just read the comments.
that
It's
was
not.
like a massive
I'm sorry.
like fart of dialogue which could have been said so simply. So
No. Let me read the comments. Hold on. There's too many. The comments
okay.
are piling up. Let me read the comments. You can interject, and interject is okay. Scientism is self-refuting. Scientism.
Yes, it is. Yes.
How?
God damn. What do you mean? Scientism is like the worst like ideology you can even adopt. And scientism, it says that only stuff which are verifiable through science is like should be accepted, but that statement itself cannot be verified through science. So that's the refutation.
Sorry, I was. Oh, by the way, I'm probably losing my chick, the one that I found. So she sent me a picture from a party last night, and she looked amazing. And I told her something nasty, and she said that is that is too much, and I need. And anyway, she got upset.
What's your response though?
What's my response to what?
Yeah, this scientism assumes that science is the best guide to get to truth, but the statement
No, I would
itself
say.
that cannot be verified through
Wait, I
science.
didn't. I never. I usually don't use the word truth, and I don't even use the word scientism. I would just say science. Look, science is the axiom of Proposition 90. It's just an axiom. It's just the ground truth. I follow science. There's no reason. I don't give a
You
reason for proposition.
you are a member of this cult, though. You literally are a scientism member.
Yes, that I agree. Yes.
That's not a good thing. But go
Why?
ahead.
What's wrong with being a member of a cult? What's the problem?
It's extremely dogmatic.
Well, it's what does that mean?
It says that science is the only way to render truth about
No, I
how
never said
things
that.
are.
Never said that.
Okay, let's just revise the sentence, but without losing any value. So it says that science is the best way to get
No,
to an
No,
accurate picture of the world.
no. It's the axiom. It's the axiom from which I build my system. All my system, my entire system has to be built on an axiom. That's the axiom. Science is just an axiom that is at the foundation of my system. That's all. I don't say anything about science. It's just the foundation of my system. That's all. It's
The
the axiom
scientific
of my
method?
system. Every system needs a ground truth. Otherwise, it cannot exist. So that's the ground truth of my system. My entire system, not just mine. Many people choose this axiom or postulate as the ground truth. It's just a ground truth. There's no reason to be scientific. I mean, that's why when you say I have not ways of knowing that is not scientific, I just ask, what is it? And I've never heard of any other way of knowing. I just never heard. If there is, let me know.
I mean, you are just ignorant to the literature on this. So
Yeah, we've debated and we halted. You halted. So as far as
no, you halted. You halted.
fine. It's fine.
Like, imagine thinking science is the only way to understand the world. That's
We
like
debated. The previous debate was you offered a different way of knowing that is not science, and you halted the conversation when you refused to answer if your thoughts are your brain. I'm still waiting for the answer. Until you give me the answer, the debate.
no, but you're assuming that there is a determinate answer to that question when I'm saying it's controversial.
You look. So you're halting the discussion. So it's halting.
It's like asking me if God exists and then getting mad when I don't give a direct yes or no.
And
Like, who knows if God actually
look,
exists?
then
Like,
it's
what the heck?
A debate is I ask you a question. Look, a debate is you make a proposition. In this case, you said, I have a way of knowing that is unscientific. I said, fantastic. That's a good proposition. I'm always looking for new ways of knowing because I have science as a way of knowing. Now you're offering me that's a great proposition that you're proposing to me. I love it already. Now I'm cross-examining your proposition. I'm cross-examining because you're proposing it to me. So I'm just trying to understand it. And as I'm asking questions, you tell me, I don't know. At that point, I have to halt the proposition. That's all. When you come back with an
No.
answer, we'll continue you proposing it to me as a new way of knowing. Until then, what do you want me to do? You offered me a new way of knowing, and midway through explaining this, you said, I don't know. Or I don't want to answer.
I want you to stop lying because
What?
you segued the conversation to what was meaningful to something which was completely irrelevant. Like, nobody cares whether the brain is the same thing as the mind, because that's not relevant to whether things are themselves the law of identity. Look, it's literally irrelevant.
Okay, look, we went there. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still waiting for the answer. If you feel that look, I'm just cross-examining. I'm just looking for a new way to know. Why would I?
No, you aren't. No, you aren't. No, you aren't.
Okay, that's it, Hamid. Look, I'm asking you, why would I not?
What?
You say no.
I don't insult people.
Wait,
I don't
say
insult
you
anybody.
insulted. You reference me, so I don't like when you reference me. I just say you reference me. That's just ad hominem. Ad hominem means you reference me. That's when you reference.
No, it's not. No, it's
You
not.
reference me. You said I don't. Look, but I reference me too. So just let me finish. It's okay.
What?
So I reference
Okay.
me. Let me reference me. So why would I not want to hear about a new way of knowing? What is somebody paying me to?
No. It's because you are dogmatic and you think science is the only way to get to truth. And this is why I'm saying that scientism is problematic. It's
Wait, so
because
you
they
think-
reject competing worldviews
Wait.
and think that every single worldview which is not science is false or fallacious. That's the problem. That's what the issue is.
Why? So you wait. So you think I think it? So you think I'm wait? Do you think I'm being honest when I tell you that I'm not able to understand your new offer, your new proposition to know that is unscientific? You think I'm being dishonest or honest about?
I think you're lying.
So I'm being dishonest?
I think you're lying.
Wait. Okay. Just tell me, because I told you. What do you mean lying? What's the lie?
I think you do know, but you're just not appreciating it because it doesn't fit in with your scientism worldview.
I used to be like you. I used to be.
No, you didn't.
I used to be like
No,
you.
you didn't. No, you didn't.
No. I. Of course, I was. I used to believe math and logic are separate from science.
Have you ever experienced the number 5?
I used to believe that I could be a brain in a vat and figure out math without experience. But then
I mean, what's the contradiction in that? You literally can.
I studied brain science. I've been doing brain science for a while, so I've become
Okay.
proficient at how the brain thinks and what thoughts are and how the brain works, what is a belief and emotion. So that is my day job. So therefore, so I have an opinion about would I know math if I was a brain in a vat. I actually have I have a learned opinion. I have many years of thinking about it that I've thought about I thought about I thought about it for a long time. I played around with it, from an engineering perspective, scientific perspective, from philosophy. I've tried it out. I've tried to build many brains, theoretical brains, and I came to the conclusion that no, knowledge is all experiential, completely.
So what's wrong with being a? Oh my god, this is like such like heated and like well researched literature which has gone on like forever, and you're just saying, well, you can't be a brain in a vat and still know mathematics. Like, what's the contradiction? Why can't you?
Because you wouldn't know the law of identity, because you wouldn't know that things exist. You would just be complete white noise.
No, oh my god, no, you just don't have a good understanding of the brain in a vat. So all of it is all possible and all coherent if you were a brain in a vat, because it's all just your soul experience. That's the idea. When you're in a dream, it's like everything's real, and when you wake up, oh, it's not real. That's the idea behind a brain in a vat.
I know what a dream is. A dream is a very, it's a very specialized mechanism, that evolution developed with very special purposes. We know a lot about the mechanics of dreams. So for me, a dream is a mechanical contraption with very special purposes. For you, it might be something more ethereal. For me, it's like I look at the brain from a complete engineering point of view. For me, the brain is a simple and relatively simple engineering feat. It's not even complex. I mean, the human brain, you could argue, because whatever, fine. But in general, brains in general are very simple. That's why they're very unprone to errors. That's the beauty. And anyway, the point is that so a dream, is, the brain has been pre-programmed to dream. It's part of the pre-programming. It's part of the weights that are pre-programmed evolutionarily through survival. So if that's the brain you're talking about, then fine, that brain might not have white noise, but that's a pre-programmed brain. So is that what you're talking about? If that's what, then we don't have a disagreement. Then maybe through dreams, a brain of that could figure out math just from the experiences of the pre-programmed dreams. That's possible. But
What do you mean figure out math as if somebody has the answers to all the mathematical questions? I don't know what you mean.
There is experiences hardwired into the brain that develops in utero. So when you're in the uterus, when a person is in the uterus, when a fetus is in the uterus, the brain develops with certain weights, certain synapses that create memories and create basically experiences. Just like you have memories of experiences, a preborn brain, a brain while developing in utero, has some pre-programmed, pre-remembered experience. Just like the Boltzmann brain comes with the experience of you right now, so does a baby. Because of evolution, certain memories are pre-programmed, certain experiences are pre-programmed. So the baby is more prone to certain behaviors. So there is no blank slate brain in nature because of evolution, because of
Okay.
embryological in utero brain development. So it's all pre-programmed. There's lessons already hardwired. Some of them are impossible to unwire. So, but I think almost nothing is impossible to unwire in the brain. So I don't want to. I don't have an opinion, but some of them are certainly difficult to unwire or rewire or reconfigure the weights. Anyway, so it might be possible for a baby to, if we take the brain of a baby, of a fetus, of a cell, of an egg cell, a human egg cell, and inject it with a sperm and get it to start cell division, and let that develop in an artificial uterus, and keep it forever in an artificial uterus throughout its life. So it's possible that because of the pre-programming of evolution, that there's enough experiences in there for that person, maybe with enough high IQ, for them to figure out a lot of stuff. But that's from basically experience. That experience is just hardwired. Experience with snakes, with falling off trees, what's going on? Oh, wait, I have a message. Let me just get the message.
I lost what you was on about 10 minutes
Why?
ago.
It's really very straightforward. But ask me
No,
questions.
I'm just not understanding how it refutes the brain in a vat. The idea behind the view is that experience seems real while you're in it, but then you can wake up to a state where you realize that your past experiences were all fake. So in a dream,
No, that's not what I'm
this is how it seems. It seems like everything is real, but then we wake up and realize, damn,
No,
it was all
that was
fake.
nothing. No, that's irrelevant. I didn't. Anyway, look.
That's the brain in the vat, so it is relevant.
Okay. Look. When I have a discussion with you, and it comes to the point of give me an answer. What's your theory about our brain? And you don't give me an answer. All I have to say is, okay, then let's hold the discussion. Come back to me. Think about it. Figure it out. When you have an answer, come back. We'll continue the discussion. I'm not declaring victory. I don't care. I want you to go and figure it out. Like I sat down, I figured out how the brain works. You should do it.
I think it's all sophistry. I think it's all humans aren't smart. You don't know. You didn't figure anything out. Like you just. Okay, I could like spend the next 10 years trying to figure this out, and I wouldn't get anywhere. All I would do is arrive at a false sense of security where I'm like, oh, I think I know the answers, but in actuality, I don't know anything. I don't know anything more than
That's a
when I started.
violation of the rationality assumption. So I assume that I'm rational. I assumed.
No, you're not.
Look, I'm assuming. I'm just assuming.
Okay.
I'm just assuming that I'm smart. That I might be smarter than Einstein, and it just so happens to be that right now it looks like I am smarter than Einstein. Never expected to be able to say that, but just in the last couple of days, I figured stuff out. I know exactly where Einstein made his mistakes, and all the geniuses in the world haven't figured it out, and I did. All right, whatever. I honestly don't care that much, but so I assume that I can be just as smart as anyone else, and it just so happens to be that I am, but I don't care. The point is that I'm curious about the universe, and I'm not going to stop being curious, and I enjoy studying this universe, and I enjoy this universe like a puzzle. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to understand this universe. I'm really curious about it. And that's
Mr. Slave,
it. Hmm.
how do you know that you got what you were looking for?
I mean, because the shoe fits, so I wear it. So I started
What?
out not understanding. I had many questions about special relativity, about Maxwell's electromagnetism, about general relativity, and about quantum physics. That's how I started. And I started, investigating. And every time I something didn't make sense, I went out and I researched it. This is all in the last couple of days. And and then at one point I woke up one day. I don't remember when exactly it happened. I was having a conversation and with someone, and suddenly it hit me that if I assume that gravity is a liquid, then that actually explains quantum mechanics, quantum mechanical waves. So from that point, I realized, and that is the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is to combine general relativity theory of gravity with quantum mechanics. So I got that without even trying. Like I saw that in order to for me to be stuck to the earth, something has to be pulling me down. From this, everything started. I just needed a simple, intuitive, mechanical, because of Proposition 90. I needed to fulfill Proposition 90, meaning I needed to come up with a mechanical explanation to gravity. Einstein, I didn't like his explanation of curved space. I don't know what that means, or curved space time. I never understood what it means. I listened to many, many YouTubers and many physicists, and whatever. I never understood it. And then one day I came up with my explanation. And and that was basically, Newtonian gravitational field theory, which is based on, right? It's derivable. It's a primitive case of Einstein's field equations. So everything started fitting together almost instantaneously. All the things that kept contradicting each other and contradicting themselves and contradicting the reality, and I couldn't even make any sense of them. Suddenly, everything made sense. Suddenly, many contradictions went away. So
Basically,
yeah.
the explanation you arrived at leaves no stone unturned.
What do you mean?
You haven't heard that expression before? No stones unturned.
I know that expression. I don't see how it's relevant. There's many stones. I've
What?
been through a lot. I'm telling you.
Yeah, your explanation, you're basically saying that the theory you came up with, it leaves no stones unturned. It
No,
explains
I
away
didn't say that.
all of the problems
No,
you had before finding the theory.
no, I didn't say that. I said it
Oh,
explains a lot. I said
literally.
a lot, a lot. I didn't say all. No, no. I didn't say all. I didn't go through everything. I didn't go through all the calculations. I'm still in the beginning of the general relativity Einstein field equations course that I'm doing online. So I'm still in the beginning of that. So there's plenty. There's many quantum mechanical experiments that I don't even know about that I still need to put them together in my new ether theory. But I also have Einstein himself in a 1920 lecture. He said, in conclusion, and then his conclusion is, if you would read it, you would say, I wrote it, except for the last sentence. He said, yeah, but this ether is not moving. Except for that, everything he says in his conclusion of 1920, 1920 is 5 years after GR. This is the heyday of Hitler, of Einstein's popularity, his shooting as a rock star. That's the most he was. And at that point, he said, the ether is real, and no one is listening to him. So my job is to bring back the ether and show that the ether, and Einstein said the ether is GR, is the theory of gravity. Except for he just made one mistake. Anyway, I don't want to go through it now because I've done it already many times. So the point is,
Do you want to debate about something? Do you want to debate about if we should legalize CP?
no, we can't debate that because we'll lose the channel. People will come to your house and murder you. If you want to get murdered, that's what you need to talk about. When the day comes and you decide that it's enough having lived on this beautiful earth, that's what you do. Until then, you whenever you hear rumors about this topic, you turn around or walk away if you are happy being alive. Because there's so many crazy people who will come and murder you that you just It's a death sentence. Don't do it. Anyway,
No, but you know it's scientific.
look again. If you want to die, it's up to you.
Oh my god! I literally have a proof as well. Okay, whatever. It's scientific as well.
Okay,
Studies and stuff.
okay. Look,
Sure,
you
okay.
cannot bring
Okay, I respect your wish not to do
Okay,
the discussion.
let's continue reading comments. Look, I'm telling you, people told me they don't know who I am, but imagine they knew who I am. They said, "I right now I'm coming over to shoot you," and I have it recorded. And he kept repeating it.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Like, what got them rolled up?
Nothing. We were just
Okay,
talking
that's a
on the
lie, but
phone.
okay.
Forget it. Look. I don't want to even get it. Maybe we'll do it in a private chat. Look, it's super dangerous. Super dangerous. You don't want to do it. There's no benefit. You're not going to change the world. You want to change the world? You know, there's ways to change the world.
How?
That's a death sentence. Stay away from that. The crazies, the true idiots, the true low IQs, that's what they do. They'll come after you. That's all they do. Just stay away. They are low IQ.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, okay.
Just be careful. All right. So, Guru Guri.
What you sound like you really care.
What?
It was just cute, but you sounded like you really cared. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not going to make a comment about something that's going to get me murdered. Let's continue.
Okay.
Guru Guri Vas.
Okay, that sounds like a challenge to me.
It's what?
It sounds like a challenge.
I don't want to be murdered. Let's not bring it up. Please, look, you don't want to get me or you murdered. So don't bring it up ever again. I'm sorry. Let's continue. Grigori Vas. Scientism is self-refuting. We've been through this. What, did we? Is it?
Yeah.
Why is scientism self-refuting? I don't even know why you mean. I don't even know what he means. Let's continue. Guru Vas says science cannot prove that there are other, well, depends on the definition of prove, that there are other, I mean, if you just mean evidence, scientific evidence, then it's different. That there are other minds other than my own.
Yeah.
Or that the external world is real, or that the past was not created 5 minutes ago with an appearance of age.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, the last one, right. We don't know if we're both.
Are you a solipsist?
I don't know what that means. So let me go.
How do you know these terms? It's like it means that only your mind is real, or you can only be sure that your own mind exists.
No.
Huh?
No, I am not a solipsist. No, I
So
believe.
how do you prove that other minds exist?
No. I'm not. I don't have evidence. I'm just saying. I just go by what's his name rule. The simplest explanation. I just follow the simplest explanation.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So the simplest theory.
Oh, okay.
So the simplest. Theory,
Interesting. That seems problematic to your views, but okay.
Wait, let me just say it. So the simplest explanation is my preferred explanation. So, for example, wait, let me just say something. So, for example,
it's massive what you said. Go ahead.
Judas, let me say something, and then you can respond. Hold on. So, do you remember? What's the name? Not Hemlin's Edge. What's some guy's edge? No, Razor.
Oh yeah.
Some razor.
Hitchens. No, what is it? Occam's razor.
Occam's razor. So Occam's razor says something like the simplest explanation, or the explanation with the least assumptions, whatever.
Possibly. Yeah.
It's not critical, but basically the simplest explanation, the Occam's razor explanation, is what you see is what you get, and that there seem to be other people running around with minds of their own. That's the way it seems to be. Could it be that it's just my mind and I'm just imagining them? Yes. But that's not what it seems to be. To me by Occam's razor, I would say that's just I think it's by Occam's razor. It doesn't have to be any principle, but I could introduce my principle. What you see is what you get. So by what you see, by the principle of what you see is what you get, by that
Okay.
principle, one second, let me just,
Uh,
okay,
I dare you to get a bucket of blue water then.
what?
What you see is what you get, but the water looks blue, so get a bucket of blue water.
I have no idea what you're saying.
What you see is what you get. Okay, that sounds like a challenge to me. Water looks blue, you know, the ocean, it looks blue. Well, go and grab a bucket of blue water.
I don't know.
Okay, it's fine. It's not
Let's continue.
critical.
Okay, anyway, let's continue to the next comment. There's just a lot of comments. So Grigorivar says science cannot prove that the laws of physics will hold in the future, or even that our cognitive faculties give true accounts of reality. Cannot prove ethical truths was
Yeah,
the H evil.
yeah,
I don't.
I
Well, the
agree.
question, yeah, but the question is, what do you mean by science cannot prove? So the laws of, I mean, science. Science, first of all, science is whatever you want it to be. Science is just a word
No,
in
no,
English. You
no,
can
it's not.
mold it to fit your purpose, your personality. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, it's your science. At the end of the day, if you want to be a scientist, then it's your science, and so it's up to you. Science, in my opinion, is just how we all live our lives. All animals, an amoeba, no, an amoeba doesn't. I think even an amoeba uses science to live, right? An amoeba feels, it senses the area, it feels food, it eats it, right? So it feels
He is correct, bro.
what?
He is correct. No, the guy, his comment is correct. Like, you can't use the laws of physics to prove what will happen in the future.
Well, it depends on what
Like,
you mean.
we have to assume that the laws of nature are, you know, that they will hold and be consistent.
Well, it depends on, so the way, I mean, part of the scientific method is that, right? The scientific method, the way I see it in Proposition 90, is we notice a phenomenon, a naturally occurring phenomenon that seems to be repeating. So, and we don't have an explanation. So we try to come up with an explanation. And this is a scientific explanation. If it is mechanical, simple, understandable, we can build a mechanical contraption or a mathematical equation or a computer simulation. And but it needs to be mechanical one way or the other. It needs to be mechanical. I think even a mathematical equation like Einstein's field equations for GR, that is still a feature. You can create a mechanical contraption to explain it and then build the math based on the mechanical contraption. So I might have to remove the mathematical part as a good theory. But the next step is to make a prediction. Now, if your theory is true, then you'd be able to make a prediction that if we run this experiment that was never done, so you offer an experiment, and I'm offering an experiment, for example, hold the Michelson interferometer, hold it vertically and rotate it because the ether is flowing into the earth. It's at 6 million meters per second. So you'll get an interference if you hold it vertically. No one has ever done it. Everyone holds it always completely horizontally. They balance it on liquid what do you call that? Not silver, liquid.
Platinum? I don't know.
No, what's the liquid metal that we put in thermometers?
I don't know. Not critical.
Anyway, yeah.
It's called Mercury, Mr.
Mercury.
Slave.
Mercury. So they floated in the mercury. So
And I just won the debate.
yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, so I made a prediction, and hopefully in the next couple of days I'm gonna get my hands on an interferometer and hold it vertically and see the interference and measure the distance between the waves and calculate the speed of the ether. and that should be 6 million years per second approximately. And if it is, right, so that is the scientific method. That's just the way it is. I mean, you could devise your own scientific method, and I'm following my own rules that I was taught. I heard yesterday it's called the Bacon science. Like there was a philosopher of science named Francis Bacon. He came up with this.
Yeah, Francis Bacon. Yeah, I know this guy. He was also like a artist as well. Cool
That-
dude.
So he came up with this algorithm. So he said the next step is to come up with an experiment, make a prediction about the results, conduct the experiment, get the actual results, compare the actual to the predicted, get the difference, calculate the errors, do it again, repeat, whatever. But hopefully you'll validate if it's close enough, then you validated enough your theory. Then your explanation has been validated. So that's an axiom. There's no you could say that there's no reason, but of course there's a reason. We all know that that's how we live our lives. That is how
Yeah. It's not rational, bro.
Well, I would say it's the definition of rational. I would say that actually defines rational.
No, so there's no conclusive way to determine that the future will follow the past, because the future and the past are different states in time.
Look,
It's reasonable. I wouldn't say it's rational.
Never mind.
wait, did somebody say something?
No, I was gonna say I agree with the second thing he said, which is it's reasonable to assume things are like they once were, but also they're different. So and that there's like chaos, so you never know what's gonna happen.
Look, so
Unless if you're like, I don't know, elevated.
so
God.
the way I would say it,
Wait, are you a talking dog?
Am I a
Uh-huh.
talking dog? I'm Muttley.
Holy shit!
look,
Yeah.
look. So the way I see it is, right? We want when I came up with my new relativity, and this also is quantum mechanics. So it's a unified field. It's called the unified field theory. So or the ether theory, unified field theory. So when I came up with my unified field theory, so I was always looking for what prediction, what experiment can I conduct, and prediction I can make to validate my theory. And I always kept looking for it. So before I had a experiment to build a vertical particle accelerator, but that wouldn't validate that. So if I would find, the particles, whatever, I have an experiment with a prediction. If that prediction would have come true, that doesn't show that that's the ether. You could say no, that's just you found the fabric of gravity flowing, but that's not ether. So I kept looking and I kept looking, and then this morning I noticed, since yesterday I came to the conclusion that special relativity, Einstein predicted length contraction at high speeds close to light. That's wrong. There is no length contraction. It's just an optical illusion. Once I realized that, and then I watched a video that Lorentz predicted actual length contraction, physical length contraction, I came to the conclusion that's wrong. Lorentz was wrong. Lorentz was, I think, Einstein's teacher. So once that settled in my mind, this morning I realized, then I can fix Michelson and Morley just by placing it vertical. And now I'm going to hopefully conduct it. But I don't need the particle accelerator, the $1 billion vertical particle accelerator. I can do it myself. I can build an interferometer myself in my house. That's so simple. Just 3 mirrors, a laser, and half a mirror in the middle. It's very fast. I just need mirrors. It's just some work. I'd rather just go to a lab and run it. But the point is that makes me feel good, because that's what everyone says is the proper scientific method, and that's how you that's much better than I have a theory. I don't want to just have a theory. I want to come up with a new experiment that no one has done, or come up with an 1886 experiment that gave the null result. No one could ever make it give other than the null result. I can give it a positive result. That's amazing. And that's the foundation of Einstein. That's even more. So I can pull the rug under Einstein. What could be better? And that would have been the experiment for the ether. Everything is so I don't need to do anything. Everything has been done, and the interferometer has been built, and it's ready. Why are you laughing?
No, I like it when you're doing that high pitched sort of intonation. It's very funny. You speak high pitched sometimes when you're trying to prove a truism. You do this high pitched voice.
Well, you're welcome to tell me where I'm wrong.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's funny when you go into the high pitched voice.
Well, maybe it's the point where I would normally yell, but then I would rape your ear, which I don't want. I don't want to hurt your ear. So I'm not yelling, but instead
Okay.
I'm just high pitching, but I don't want to hurt your ear, so it comes out as a screech.
Guru Ivas said, science cannot prove that our cognitive faculties give true accounts of reality, and that's like obviously true. Do you agree?
Again, it depends on the word prove. What do you mean by if you mean absolute proof? I agree. If you mean relative proof, scientific proof, you're wrong. Anything can
How?
be proven.
Let's just get an idea what he means though. So what he's saying is that our minds, we don't see the world how it actually is. So it's the classic, the map is not the territory. So the territory is how the world actually is,
Yeah,
and the map is just our perception, our models, all of that. So
we
you can't really use science to show that what my perception of
yes,
things are
correct.
is how things actually are. I think that's pretty
I
trivial.
completely agree with you. We've agreed on this since day one.
Yeah.
We don't disagree on this. I mean, you can repeat it as much as you want because I completely agree with it. The way I present it is by definition we don't have access to objective knowledge. That's just the definition of the word objective. We by definition do not have access to objective knowledge or absolute knowledge, if you want to say call it absolute or actual. Fine, then I agree. We have no access to any of those. Fine. So I'm obviously I'm never going to aim for that. All I aim for is scientific, experiential. So that's my gold standard. My gold standard is not absolute. My gold standard is scientific. It's a scientific method. That's all I have. That's the best I have. So that's what I'm going for. So hopefully I'll scientifically prove that I'm right and we can dethrone Einstein and I can take over the throne of whatever throne Einstein had, which would be nice. I wouldn't,
I guess so. Yeah.
it's not a bad thing to take over Einstein's throne. If all the geniuses tell everyone that I'm the biggest genius, I'm not gonna say you're wrong. It's gonna get me a lot of chicks, which I'm never gonna say no to. Anyway, so group us.
Like a haram of chicks. Anyways, so
that's not because I'm a slave. That's not what I'm looking for.
What are you looking for?
Well, we can discuss it some other time. I don't want to
Yeah.
every time we discuss these things, we don't lose monetization yet, but we get age restricted. So I don't want to do that. So some other
Science cannot prove ethical truths. I think that's true as well. I think ethics or morality is outside the field of science,
no,
and it's more so concerned with philosophy, which
No.
is not science.
no. So I
No.
used to think that, and then I heard a discussion between Cosmic Skeptic and and Harris. What's Harris the philosopher?
Sam Harris. Sam Harris.
Yeah. So
Wow, Cosmic Skeptic. Yeah, he's one of my. I like Cosmic Skeptic. Alex O'Connor did. Go ahead.
So I heard a discussion between them, and I used to always not like Sam Harris's The Moral Landscape. I heard him talk at Google, and he told them at one point, "Look, I don't know. I mean, it's a work in progress. I'm not sure." So he got defeated by questions from Google, from Googlers, from workers at Google, where he gave the lecture about the moral landscape. Since then, I lost all respect to him. But then I heard him. I never listened to him. I hate him. But then,
Well,
but then I had nothing better to listen to, whatever. So I was listening to this just like a week ago, and he explained that, well, we can approach morality and ethics scientifically. We can just assign a scientific
mm,
metric, like we do to anything. We know what is right. We know as people that speak English, we know what is moral and what is immoral, what is ethical, what is that. We know that if we can create two universes, one in which everyone is suffering the most and one in which everyone is happiest the most, of course, if you choose to create the universe of suffering, you're evil by definition. And if you create the universe of pure pure pleasure, you're good by definition. So from this we can certainly create some metrics and scientific metric and be able to say, well, this what you did here is ethical and here what you did is unethical. So once he said that, I said, oh, this is fantastic. So I don't remember if I said this before him or him. I don't, but I'll credit him. So that's not true. So what Grigorivas is saying is incorrect. So we can define scientifically ethics. Of course we can. We can say, well, this action,
well,
we can, right? We're free people.
I think Sam Harris is one of the biggest quacks as far as like
Yes,
quack is like somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about when it comes
yes,
to morality and stuff like that.
sure.
And he's definitely one of them. He doesn't know a clue of what he's saying in morality and stuff, and pretty much everybody agrees with me in the field. As far as what you said, the world where there's the most amount of pleasure, that means that you're good. Like, can you like say that again so I get you correct?
Say what?
You said if there's a world, there's two worlds. One world is where it's
If
pure
no,
suffering.
it
The
just
person who creates that world is evil, and
by
the person
definition,
who creates the world of pure pleasure,
just
they are good.
right. See, look, I don't remember exactly the words, but something like this. Since we know the definition of these words, of course we can create a scientific metric. So of course we can create a scientific metric and be able to measure good and bad scientifically. That shouldn't be an issue. It's up to us. If we want to do it, we can do it. That's all he said basically. Once he said that, I said, yeah. So it's not like ethics don't exist, morality doesn't exist. It's just that they've never been
Okay.
scientifically defined. But if we scientifically define them, then
All
of
right.
course it's easy to deal with them.
Okay. So
And then science, of course, science can tell us things. What?
I think he wants to jump in. Yeah.
I'm listening. Go ahead. Who wants to jump in?
Oh, I was hearing somebody speaking while you were. I thought you
you're
were trying to
scary.
jump
Though.
in.
I don't know what sort of monster I created. Oh, sorry, guys. I was talking about somebody.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
you're talking to somebody off the like.
Um,
No, I was talking to
Anyways.
myself, but like I was like typing. I was trying to think like what to type, so I was typing to myself
Oh,
because am I retarded? Sorry.
I mean, Mr. Slave, if you're saying we can use science to determine what the good and bad is, I'm not seeing how you would do that without already assuming that we already have an understanding of what the good and the bad is.
no, it's not an assumption. It's up to
Yes, it is.
it's up to us to
Pleasure and pain is not synonymous with good and bad.
define. It's up to us to define whatever we want. We can define, like we defined what what a kilogram is. It's up to us to define it. We defined what bubble gum is. It's up to us to define what words. No one is going to stop us. So
Can I cut you off?
go ahead. But we need to.
Well,
We've been here.
if all your
Listen. I just want to get through the comments. There's another 10 of them. I just want to read quickly through them.
Okay.
We gotta go because I gotta do other stuff. And
Okay.
then I gotta go
Okay.
out tonight. So, okay. So, science cannot. So we've spoken about enough about this. Lessis Moore says no. I guess, about the previous one. It cannot prove ethical truths. So the Sam Harris came up with an algorithm that it should be possible. So I don't know what no means when the previous comment is a negative comment. It cannot. So no is ambiguous. Let's just you gotta be either say affirmative or positive, and even then it's not clear. Anyway, Gruguri Vaz. If a or say agree or don't agree. Anyway, a negative comment is basically it's very difficult to understand reactions to a negative comment. Next, Guru Vas says if a process or a thing cannot in principle be measured, I don't know what that means. Then it's unscientific by definition, according to Popper. It's got to be falsifiable and stuff. It cannot be investigated using the scientific method. Yeah, that's the definition. And there are things, even some very important things, that we cannot measure. Well, you got to give me an example. So I don't know what you're talking about. And
You know, if we're using science and we say that, well, you can measure good and bad, if you do X to X amount of people, it's going to result in like 1 billion people reporting that their life is great. Science wants to say that that's moral, but that's like
I'm sorry,
intuitive.
I wasn't listening. I'm thinking about the chick that I.
Using science to prove that morality is good or that something is bad, it would probably get to the conclusion that if you did X action to 100 people, let's say you put them in like a death camp or something, like 1 billion other people will experience the most like the most like best pleasure of all time. But that's not moral because just because you're harming like a small portion of people and a lot of other people are experiencing pleasure, that's not moral.
Well, again, it's up to us to define words. That's like saying what I'm chewing is not bubble gum. It's I don't know some other word. Bubble gum is actually different because bubble gum needs to be able to make bubble out of the gum, and this is not designed for bubbles. What you could do whatever you want. Look, it's words. It's up to you. When you become a scientist and you put together a new field of science and you can define your words. Like I claim that the ether is the unified field theory. Is the unified field. It's up to me. I'll do whatever I want. I called it a fabric. I can call it whatever I want. So it's up to the scientists to call it whatever they want in the paper that they're writing or whatever, when the talk they're giving or to their colleagues. It's just words.
If there's no truth, anything goes. But go ahead.
Of course, I mean, I wouldn't say there is. Look, it's two different things. Like when you say there is no truth, again, there is the word truth is an entry in the dictionary, and we can define it between ourselves when we talk. And if you define it as absolute truth, then it's that's what it means. And if you define it as scientific truth, then that's what it means. If you say, well, it's neither nor, it depends. If you want to say absolute truth, you say absolute truth, and if you want to say scientific truth, you say scientific truth. Otherwise, we don't know what you mean. That's also fine. So it's up to us. These are just words. You're. It's up to you what you want these words to mean in a discussion. So in any time you can say, well, from now on in this discussion, let's make this word means this. Now this could be, tedious and confusing. So usually you want to simplify. Anyway,
I have to go in 10 minutes.
me too. Let's continue. Mrs. Slave has faith in the sun rising. I mean, I don't know. You could call it faith. I don't have a problem with the word faith. If by faith you mean scientific faith, then it's a probability based on a bunch of assumptions. Like the word science is based on, but yeah. I don't have a look. The word faith has its meaning in the dictionary, and therefore I can use it. It's useful. So yes, I have faith in the sun rising, of course. This is Moore says, boo, Karen, boo, cringe, lol. Okay, that's hurtful. That don't be hurtful. The Sismore says, I bet $5 you will not disprove it. Well, um, you know, fine. I think I am. I I really think I am. If you want to, if anyone wants to place bets, then place your bets. This could be exciting. I think I am. I'm pretty sure I am. I'm very confident because I've been, I did a lot of research towards this, and very fast. It just took a couple of days to basically catch up to speed with all of modern physics enough to be able to say confidently, I know exactly where Einstein is wrong, and therefore I know exactly where in the entire field of modern science is wrong. I'm confident. So if you want to place a bet, I don't know how to. If you can create a bet like on a betting platform, let's do it. This should be exciting. Let's make it exciting. Let's put some money on it. Let's get this rolling. We don't. There's not much time. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have access to a lab. And certainly $5. That should be funny because like a lot of physicists they do bets for $1 and stuff like that. Anyway, Lysis Moore says, did you tell her you wanted to eat the groceries using the scientific method? I told her something very, very not good, and she got upset. I went too far, too fast, and, uh, you know, sometimes we make mistakes. So I'm waiting for her answer. She said she's very upset and she needs to think about it, and usually that means one thing. Unfortunately, there's usually no coming back from that.
Really?
However, there is ways. If you give them time and you come back, like if after some time you have changed, something about you changed, like maybe I don't know, something significant changed, and you have something significant to offer, then like something about you changed. I don't know what, but if something changed, then you can you can make her feel like excited again. If you can do it, then you can take her back. But also, I'm not giving up. I never give up. So when a chick tells me it's over, I never accept it. I still gently, I keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until she tires me out. And usually that's what chicks do. They don't, they always let you down. They see that you love them, so they always let you down easy. Even if they tell you no, I'm not interested, and you keep coming back, they're just gonna ignore you. They're just gonna say, "Look, okay, whatever." They're not going to be used. I've never had a chick after a relationship. I've never had a chick hurt my feelings like in a mean way. It's usually very very humane. The chicks are very humane in my experience. Did you tell her? Okay, next. Let's finish up. We're almost done. So Leslie Moore says, "What do you mean science can be whatever I want?" It's just a word. So when it's a word, a word is just a tool that we use to communicate. So I want to impress upon you a feeling that I have. I use words. Sometimes the definition is not clear, so we clear up the definition. Sometimes I don't like the definition of any dictionary, so I clean it up. And sometimes we want to take a word and overload it with something that no one has done before. It's up to us. It's just a tool to transmit a feeling from my brain into yours, to make an impression, a psychological impression. Grugur, you're writing such long messages. On an atheist premise, how can right and wrong be anything more than words we use to describe what we approve and disapprove?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a story. That's a Russian story. There was a guy who got stuck. He got stuck in a crocodile, and what happens is the crocodile is an alligator for the government. So the guy gets eaten by a crocodile, and he some people try to get him out, and they can't get him out, and he just accepts it. He accepts being in a crocodile, which is government.
Wait, what are you talking about? Who said government?
What that guy Ruger Evis is referring to, I'm guessing because he's Russian, is a Russian story. It's a Russian story about this guy who gets stuck in a crocodile.
Where? Are you reading what I'm reading on an atheist premise? Are you on another?
Yeah, because okay, he's saying a crocodile. You don't think of the crocodile as evil or guilty or morally accountable.
Where is there a
There's
crocodile? What
what do you mean? Where is
crocodile?
there a crocodile?
Read me.
Harris. Okay, I'm gonna read you the comment.
Yeah.
Harris equates the way we should think of an
No,
and
look at the stream. You're not looking at the stream. I never gave you the stream. I never give you the stream. No. You don't know what comment I'm reading. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not. He's just
oh, you're
Wrong stream.
like he's behind on the stream basically.
Oh, Grugur. Oh, you're behind. I read the crocodile story. I didn't read the crocodile story.
No. No, Mr. Slave is behind and off.
you
the
haven't
cruise
read the
ship is
comment yet. He's
ahead.
commented something else.
Okay, then
I have.
that's what I figured. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, so on an atheist premise, how can right and wrong be anything more than words? Well, nothing can be more than words. At the end of the day, everything is just words we use to describe what we approve and disapprove. Whatever, approve,
Yeah,
disapprove.
That's your opinion, though.
Everything is my opinion. The fact that you exist is my opinion. The fact that you just said what you said is my opinion. The fact that 1 + 1 is 2 is my opinion. Everything in this universe is my opinion. Next,
What?
Max Stirner would call them spooks.
what we find helpful and unhelpful, what is to our taste and what is not. Sure, these are just words. Words are up to us to define. Yeah. Next
So
question.
basically, nothing is true.
Nothing is absolutely true, but anything can be as true as we choose to define true to mean.
Is that true? Nope.
It's as true, as we want it to mean.
It's called The Crocodile by Dostoevsky.
Wait,
And do you want to read the synopsis?
wait,
Yeah.
wait, hold on.
Is that a book? Is that a book?
Let me
It
read.
is a short story.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna read that.
1 second.
Up, down. No, I'm joking.
But I have to go.
I'm
Look,
joking,
I need to go.
Same. I need to go. As well.
Go, and I also need to eat before I go, and I need to, prepare before I go. So I really need to finish up. So next time you tell us this story, what's your name? Ship?
Off the cruise ship. I
Cruise.
need to go
Okay.
as well in like 4 minutes.
Okay, let's finish up. 2 more comments. 3 more comments. Harris is a utilitarian. I don't know if he is. He thinks in very practical
Yes.
terms. He would say that someone who tortures little children is really lousy at enhancing human happiness and well-being, not fundamentally evil. Well, depends on the word definition of evil. Whatever, fine. It's I would have to hear him say it, but it's whatever.
He's a
a terrible
utilitarian,
story.
but who cares?
I don't know what he is. Yeah, I don't care what he is or what he says he is. I don't care. Everyone is an egoist, amoral egoist, as far as I know.
Nope.
Let's see.
Okay.
Yes, we can discuss it next time. So Leslie Moore says, I was saying no when you asked. Okay, here's the no. When you asked if the brain is a function of thoughts or something similar to that.
Less is more is correct.
The opposite. The thoughts are a function of the brain. So you think no. So you believe in God and spirits. That's fine. So we would.
No, that's not a good reductio. You don't have to believe in that.
I didn't say it's a
To say what
reductio.
Leslie Moore is saying.
And by the way, when you say reductio, I mean reductio ad absurdum, right? So I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's absurd, sir. I don't argue that something is absurd. I'm just saying if you believe that thoughts are not a function of the brain, okay, then you agree that you agree that you're unscientific, right? Or if you are scientific, show me the evidence. But as far as I know, there's no evidence to that. So as far as I know, you're not scientific. If you're not scientific, then your proposition is not scientific. Then it's nonsense by
We choose what words mean, so I can be using science as well, yet still reject brain being a function of thoughts.
Look, he phrased it in reverse, so I don't even know what he meant. He said,
Okay,
brain
never
is-
mind. Let's go.
Yeah, forget it. Yeah, let's continue. Guru Guriva says Harris equates the way we should think of and treat an axe murderer with a dangerous crocodile. You don't think of a crocodile as being evil, guilty, or morally accountable. Again, Harris equates the way we should think of and treat an axe murderer with a dangerous crocodile. Yeah, yeah. I would do the same. Basically, like I would treat like bad people just like bad or dangerous animals. Yeah. So we just need to defend ourselves, guys. No more messages. That's it. Grigorivas and let's just more your
Can I
last.
read the story?
No, we don't have time. We gotta go. You can tell us next time, next stream.
Very short.
No,
Very
no,
short.
no. We gotta go. We've been here
All
for
right.
almost 3 hours. We really have to go. Anyway, Grigorivas says good stream. Thanks for reading the comments. Cheers. Yeah, you're welcome, Grigor. Your comments are always very interesting. Let's see more says you basically are saying that's absurd if you are saying I believe in God. I don't say anything is absurd. I never use that. I never use the word absurd. All I'm saying is that either you're scientific or you're not. If you're not scientific, then by definition it's nonsense. I would even say by definition it's a lie. You're lying. And if you claim you're not, then debate me, and I'll prove to you you're lying. And it's going to be a stalemate. But in my mind, you're either lying or something like that. Anyway, wait more. You are inferring. Listen, we're
I
inferring.
need to go.
Yeah, we need to go. We need to go. Let's see some more. Well, I'm sorry. This is gonna be next time. We gotta stop. No, we gotta stop. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for being part of this experience. We'll see you next time. Goodbye. And